That's weird. I felt like the music should have started getting picked up earlier. Hello, everyone. Still figuring out how to work with this new audio setup. Strange that it wasn't picking up the music even though I had desktop audio recording turned on. Strange stuff indeed. Well, anyway, how do I sound? I've done a little bit of tweaking. I've realized I listened back on the last stream, and my volume seems to be fine now. I sounded plenty loud in the Ragnarok tier list I released the other day. So I think I should be good now. I think I should be loud enough. But of course, I need to know what you guys think, because you're the ones that are going to be listening to this. Justin Parker says, sounds good. Good! This is the good. Alright, so what I should probably do is, first off, for the first time in a while, we're actually going to limit the amount of people that can come into VC. I think we're going to limit it to like 5? I think 5 is fine. I'm going to hop into Stream VC. Then I'm going to ping Niko. Hop into the Stream VC. Okay, we got a bunch of people saying that this is good. This is good. So how are you guys all doing? The reason we're starting so early today is because I have to leave at around like 3:30. I have to go get COVID tested. No, don't worry, I'm not sick. I don't have any symptoms, but I was around someone that tested positive less than a week ago. So, you know, out of abundance of caution, to ensure I'm not like asymptomatic or something, gotta go get tested. And the lines are fucking insane. I'm probably gonna be in line to go get tested for like a couple hours. Niko!
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me on here, man. It's good to chat.
It is great to chat. It's been a little while since we've done this.
Definitely. I think it was maybe sometime late last year, early this year.
I think it was in like March. I should go check when we did that one, because that was the previous Kengan discussion we did. That was like, I don't remember if Hayami versus Gerardo was over by then. I don't think it had finished quite. That or it had just ended.
Yes. Yeah, because around about halfway, just over halfway.
Yeah. Yeah, this was...
stuff has happened so far as well.
March 27th. So it's been a little while. It's been about 8 or 9 months.
Damn. Okay, cool.
So, we've got a pretty solid amount of people already in the stream. 15. If you're in here and you haven't already, people, be sure to drop a like on the stream. Now, of course, we're going to be on topic here. I don't think this will be as long as the last few Misccast episodes, because I don't think we have quite as much to talk about, and this should be slightly more organized. So, if I recall correctly, the list of topics we were going to go over, since this is mostly specifically about the tournament that just finished. What were your overall opinions on the tournament? What did you think was the best fight? What did you think was the worst fight? Which fight surprised you the most in terms of its quality? Which one was the most disappointing? And where do you think things are going to go from here? Since you're the guest, I'll give you the honors of starting off.
Okay. First one was overall opinions, right?
Yeah.
overall, I enjoyed it, definitely. I thought it was something new compared to Kengan Ashura. I do think I preferred Kengan Ashura to Kengan Omega's tournament though, but I also don't think it was meant to be have the same kind of impact that the Annihilation tournament had, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's more set up than anything else. Um, I think there was a lot of interesting characters added as well.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, yeah, I would say I liked it. There was a lot of stuff I didn't like, definitely, like you know that already, but yeah, overall it was good. It was interesting enough.
For me, I thought it was kind of okay. It had some stuff that was good, it had some stuff that was really good, and it had some stuff that was really not good. I've said this a few times, but my biggest problem with this tournament is that after all it was set up to be, it ended up to just be kind of more set up for other stuff, and a lot of
Yeah,
the things that were hyped up did not live up to the hype, especially some of the things that were seriously hyped up. Some of them did. A few things lived up to the hype. And some things that had like no hype going into them ended up being great, which is ironic. Seems to be generally how it kind of worked out. Um, there were some things I did like. I would agree. I think probably the best thing that came from this tournament was the characters. We got introduced to like a whole new cast of characters. Some of them, I think, kind of had wasted potential. There were some that could have been a lot more than what they ended up being. Some of them could have been used more in the story, and then it seemed like Sandrovich just decided, nah, we're done with them now. Um, but some of them still have potential uses in the future, still seem to have room for development, and I hope that they come back. But overall, I found the tournament to be kind of underwhelming.
that's fair. Yeah, I can definitely understand that one.
So, let's start off with what you thought. Well, no, we're not starting off. Next thing. What did you think was the best fight in the tournament? We had 13 to choose from, and boy, do they have a wide range in quality.
Definitely varies. um, Personally, I'd say the Fei Wang Fang versus Wakatsuki fight is probably my favorite fight out of the whole tournament. Even with the way it ended, I still think it had the most hype going throughout the fight for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even the way, like, there wasn't. Do you know how everyone was trying to guess who the Tiger's vessel might be? And Faye was one of the guys that was up there, but obviously it wasn't confirmed until the reveal. And then even after the reveal, I feel like he did live up to the hype of it. Like he destroyed Wakatsuki pretty much. To be honest, like a few more seconds or just a little bit more, and it could have just been an easy win for him. Or if he tried like his best at the beginning, it could have been an easy win, which is incredible for me because obviously Wakatsuki's a goat. He's not the kind of guy that you just assume would get beaten easily. It was shocking. I do feel bad for Wakatsuki, but I did like the hype that Sandrovich brought for Fei Wanfang. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite fight overall.
Yeah, I definitely think in terms of the spectacle and the hype, that fight was probably the best. I think even though looking at it, Lolong is probably stronger than Fei in terms of like pre-initiative and fighting strategy and stuff like that. Um, Fei feels stronger than Lolong did just because of the impact of everything that he did. Almost any time he did something, they did a very good job at portraying just how powerful he was.
Yeah,
And as a result, by the time the fight was over, it was like, holy shit, Fei is like top five at least. Um, when you walk, when you fucking dog walk Waka, when you wipe the floor with him for most of the fight, like, holy fuck. I think a lot of people sell Waka short. I've noticed that a lot of people kind of undersell how strong he is. The dude was like top four in Ashura. Like
definitely.
he's nuts. Um, so to be able to toss him around like a child is insane. Um, and I do think that Faye absolutely lived up to the hype of the Tiger's Vessel. We were expecting the Tiger's Vessel to be super busted. A lot of people thought that the Tiger's Vessel would probably end up being even stronger than Lolong. Um, and it feels like he is, even though it probably really isn't. So I think he absolutely lived up to the hype. The only thing I could complain about is that he's dead already.
Yeah,
It felt kind of short-lived, and I don't entirely get why.
that's the thing. The only thing I can really think of with that is that maybe Sanji Rich was like, we've made this guy a bit too strong. How is he going to settle into the rest of the Kenganverse? But then they could have found a way to kind of fit him in. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like they just killed him just to make sure that he couldn't just be someone used as a gun to kill everybody in the verse, because he was just
yeah.
ridiculous.
I did see some
Ridiculously OP.
people when we got like Divine Demon and stuff. Some people were like, "Holy shit, this power creep is absurd." Because if Faye is not the final boss of Omega, then like Tiger, Niko, and Edward, and whoever else we meet, we're just gonna be in Dragon Ball territory by then. It's gonna be nuts. Um,
Yeah, definitely. I think the only people that can really rival Divine Demon is maybe the guys that use 100% removal,
yeah,
and they'd have to be hella skilled as well, because like the thing about Faye, I think like even in terms of skill, he's not a slouch. So he had the raw power, and then he had the amazing skill of the Niko style as well. So he was just too much.
mm, yeah. I mean, Mozzarella Custard did a really good video talking about how strong Faye is. He does really good character
Yeah,
analysis
I did see.
videos.
Mm.
So I generally kind of use him as an objective source for the strengths and weaknesses of characters, because he goes over stuff that I wouldn't even have thought of. And, generally, guys that we already knew were kind of top tier, yeah, those are pretty much the only dudes that can beat him. That's about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, I do think probably having Faye go second to last right before Lolong may have made Lolong feel weaker. I don't know if it
Yeah,
was the exact
definitely.
placement, but it was like having Faye fight and then be like, holy shit, what is Lolong going to do that would put him near this or above this? And then we don't get like really anything that does. To be
That's the thing,
totally
because I feel
honest.
like. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, no, that was the end of my sentence there.
I was gonna say I feel like we were kind of all expecting, because of the hype that came from that fight, the long needed to be at least that level, and then it waxed and waned. I do think there were good parts of Omer versus Long, but
Oh
it
yeah,
did
there
kind of,
definitely were.
yeah. But to be honest, I would have preferred if, personally anyway, I would have preferred if Faye fought someone else. Like, I do like that he fought Wakatsuki, because we got to see the difference in their power and stuff like that. But it would have been cool to see him fight like Omer, for example, or even, no, actually, yeah, I'd stick with Omer. Even
Yeah,
maybe Agato, but
I
I'd rather
mean,
he fought Omer than anyone else.
Faye versus Omo was my idea. Like that when we were thinking of the fight that the Tigers Vessel would have.
Yeah,
I was pretty much always thinking that Faye was gonna fight Oma because Lolong versus Oma seemed like too obvious, and also since Oma was the old protagonist coming back from the dead, pretty much, I was like, I don't know if I think Lolong could lose. If there's anyone that Lolong would probably lose to, it would be Oma, just from like a narrative perspective. And then it's really
yeah,
hard for Lolong to live up to the hype if he loses his first fight. And well, we saw how that went. So I had always figured we would have Lolong fight Waka, since Waka doesn't have as much like out there stuff as the Niko style. He's just really strong.
yeah.
So that would have maybe made a better fight. But the fight that we did get for Waka was pretty damn good. Um, by the way, we've only got 18 likes, but we have 27 viewers, which is like, holy shit. We haven't had this many
Oh
stream
wow.
viewers in a while. If you're in here and you haven't already, be sure to drop a like on the stream. And if you're feeling generous, you're always welcome to drop a donation in the super chats. I'd appreciate it. So I have Waka versus Faye as the second best fight in the tournament. The one that I have as the
Okay.
best fight is Liu versus Nitoku. because
Ah,
I had a feeling. I had a feeling. We've got two guys with relatively grounded martial arts styles. I know Chinese martial arts are usually kind of gimmick shit. Um, like in real life, a lot of Chinese martial arts, like Tai Chi, it's not an actual real fighting martial art.
yeah,
Not a good one, at least. And Sambo is a real thing. We've already seen Nitoku do his stuff, and there was precedent for characters that had basically not a lot of hype. They're not particularly powerful. At least, they're not like S tier or something. Having really good fights, in Omega. Especially with Rihito versus Falcon, which until this point for me was the best fight in the tournament. It was great. Um, so I was expecting really good choreography. Liu had a lot of character development and stuff. There was a lot of stuff going on with his character that was being set up for his eventual fight. So we had a lot of that going in. And then we got it pretty much. We got all the character stuff from Liu. We got good choreography for the fight, a lot of good impact, had a good
yeah.
back and forth. I liked the flow of it. There was a surprising development between the two of them. I didn't really expect Nitoku to mesh as well with Liu as he did. Um, and oh my god, it's a fight where a Purgatory fighter isn't underwhelming. Holy shit. Remember kids, Liu is the only other Purgatory fighter that was able to get up and walk off of the stage after his fight.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other thing. That was actually a shame as well. That's one of
Yeah.
the worst things about the tournament, to be fair. Just so many overrated characters or overly hyped characters that didn't live up to their expectations.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you about the Lee versus Nitoku fight. That was really good, and I wasn't expecting anything from that fight at all. I was just
Oh,
thinking, it's just gonna be another filler. We'll see it. It will go, and then great.
I remember
But
when we were getting after we had the walkout where the two went out to the fight.
yeah,
And I remember hearing a lot of people that said like they weren't expecting much from the fight. It's like, oh, whatever. It's just a bunch of randos fighting each other. It's not any of the important characters fighting. And I'm like, oh, you guys are in for a surprise. It's because it's the unimportant characters fighting that Sandrovich is gonna absolutely pop off with this one. I don't know what it
yeah.
is, but he always does it with those ones.
Yeah, and it was pretty much anyway. It was a grappler versus a striker, which I thought was interesting as well.
Yeah, that's always an interesting dynamic. Usually because it's either striker can't do shit against grapplers, or grappler gets their ass handed to them by a striker. And I think mostly because Nitoku is just really goddamn durable, and also is kind of a striker as well, even though he's primarily a grappler.
Yeah,
He's he's able to do fairly well against strikers. And Liu is a bit fragile, but he's able to take it. I mean,
yeah.
if you're willing to break your own arm to get out of a hard submission, that's quite a statement.
And he had was it Fajin he was using?
Yeah, it was
He
Fa
was
Jin, and I think it was pointed out that once Liu goes into high gear, he stopped just spamming powerful techniques and then just started doing normal stuff.
oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Like
Uh,
back to basics more or
yeah,
less.
I mean that was like the whole thing that Kuroki was on, or
Yeah,
that was what Ray realized during Kuroki and Agito's fight is like, it's not about having a powerful technique that you use; it's just knowing what to use at the right time.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's an interesting point actually, because I've always had in my mind that Liu is like a glass cannon, but he is a lot more than that. To be fair,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Let's
was definitely
see.
a great fight.
Yeah, that was a good one. I would say, out of all the fights, I would say that Rihito versus Falcon, Liu versus Nitoku, and Waka versus Faye were the three that I would say were really good fights.
Yeah,
I would put them probably up there with like the better half of Ashura fights. Probably up in like A tier in terms of
okay,
fights. I thought those were really solid. But I don't think we got anything that I thought was like best out of all of Kengan.
No, definitely not. Which is kind of a shame, but it's expected, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's hard to recreate that kind of magic, I guess, from back in the day. I say back in the day like it wasn't 2 years ago, but yeah. Um,
Um, let's see. Since we're done with that, and I don't want this stream to be over too quickly. It's only been like 20 minutes. Um, let's check out what the chat has to say. Urara says, I'm 100% sure there'll be another tournament after this. I don't really mind as long as the fights are actually good. I still think non-tournament fights would suit Omega better because there'd be less formalities and more apeshit crazy fights. Same reason I liked Koga versus Kokoro a bit. I don't think we're going to do another tournament after this. It's not like a big important one because this was like 80 chapters. This was a long
yeah,
chunk of time to dedicate to setup for something. Tournaments are way too formal. There's a bunch of formalities that involve a tournament. You have like actual organizations involved with it and stuff that aren't trying to murder the main characters.
I'd say, yeah, I can't see, unless they do it much, much later in the story and it's a bit shorter, maybe you might have another tournament, or if they do like a sequel manga to Kengan Omega, if they choose to do that, we might see
Yeah.
like a longer one.
I've noticed a lot of
But yeah,
mangas, they only ever have one sequel. They never do a trilogy.
that's true. Yeah.
Strange. Um,
We do kind of have that thing at the. I'm still not sure what it was, to be honest. Do you know Kengan Omega Chapter 0?
oh yeah, the thing at
They,
the start with the two guys, the color page. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a tournament. That seems like an underground fighting or some kind of ritual thing.
true.
I don't think we're gonna get another tournament in Omega just because of how things are developing. Like, there be a tournament in there's some sort of fairness and rules involved in a tournament. It seems like we're going into worm territory now, and I don't think the worms are interested in holding like a fair competition.
True.
Considering that, they were fucking up a fair competition. And are apparently going to be doing, I don't know, probably some kind of act of terrorism in the aftermath of a fair competition, because they didn't win. Well, maybe
Yeah.
because they didn't win. I don't know if they would have done this if they had. Um,
I am kind of curious to see like how the setup for the fights are going to go though. Is it going to be like, because I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of like there's the tragedy coming up, and then there'll probably be maybe like a training arc or something.
it's
But then
strange, but
if they start,
I imagine we're going to be going on to some kind of like infiltration mission stuff. We're going to have characters being sent to go fight people and do stuff.
yeah, I could see that happening. But would it be like? Do you reckon it would come out like one-on-ones, or would it be like group fights? Or
We would probably get like a bit of a mix of it.
yeah, I can see that.
Because, I mean, right now we've got a group fight going on. So,
True.
it seems like we're probably going to be getting more of these in the future because we really don't have that many in general. Oh, yeah, and presumably, um, you know, assuming that he runs up on those guys, we're going to have Joji and Kureishi fight Tiger Niko, so that's another group fight.
That
And
would be an epic fight.
yeah,
as well.
and I say those two because let's be real here. Other than like Kuroki, out of the non-competitors in the tournament, those two are the only guys that are going to be fighting Tiger Niko. No one else has shit on that guy.
Yeah. Like, I reckon Omar and Agito probably want to, but I don't think either of them are probably at that level, maybe.
Not yet. As much
Yeah.
as people hype up Agito, which I mean, yeah, like these guys are like S plus. These guys are top tier Kengan fighters. But there are characters who are not Kengan fighters in Kengan. Those guys are kind of busted. Some of them are from before Kengan was Kengan, and Sandrovich was basically just doing a Baki spinoff. So,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes down.
yeah, I know it's.
Yeah.
People know the Fist of the Secret characters are like different power scaling from normal Kengan characters, but we do need to see how their feats are adapted into Kengan, because they may not still be as strong, but I feel like Sanjevich would still probably want them to be really strong because they're his characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see them being like, yeah, like you said, like S plus tier or something.
Yeah,
Or
like
around about like top level.
as far as I understand, Kureishi is like S tier. He's really strong, but he's not the strongest. Whereas Joji is probably like a Kuroki level character. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pixel Gun
You
says,
were,
yeah.
sorry, I was just saying. You were saying as well about which fight surprised you the most.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that after I catch up on the chat.
Oh, okay, cool. No, sure.
Pixel Gun said, yep, Lolong was hyped a lot, and it ended how it ended. Yeah, it did. Urara says, I wish Lolong won against Oma in the fight itself, but Oma beat him via Purgatory rules. He would have lived up to the hype. Yeah, that would be a decent compromise.
Yeah.
But we can't have that, because the tournament... I feel like the tournament, other than setting up worm stuff for the future, also is like, hey guys, remember the Kengan characters? Look how cool they are. Look how strong they are.
Pretty much. Just like, how much more powerful have these guys got?
As opposed to, let's have some good fights with these other strong characters. It's just, look how strong the Kengan fighters are. It's like the goddamn Raitai tournament all over again. But bigger! Probably not, I don't think it took up more time, because Baki has really slow pacing with the chapters.
Definitely.
Sun Eater says tournament could have been better. Oma felt like he had to win. I mean, a lot of people felt that way. I had originally thought Oma would lose just because, oh, there's no way Sanjevich would hype up Lolong like this just to have him lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Or I wouldn't. To be fair, I didn't really mind who was gonna win, but I wish we saw more from Lolong. If like you have the guy that you've been hyping for this time lose, like at least show him showcasing more stuff than he did.
What they should have done is it should have been down to the wire. If you want to make Lolong feel really powerful, it should have been like Oma versus Kuroki, but the Demon's Bane actually lands.
Yeah.
That's how you would have hyped up Lolong. That's how Lolong would have lived up to the hype. And also, another problem is now that after Lolong lost, we didn't even see him get carried off the stage. I don't think his name as so much has been dropped since the fight ended. Are we just gonna pretend the guy doesn't exist anymore or something? It's like Yumi and Lu. Where those guys, yeah, they're really strong and important, and then they get their shit rocked, and then they have not so much as been mentioned since.
Okay, we even got Nicholas the Banner epilogue kind of thing going.
Yeah.
But nothing for the rest.
Nothing for him.
Even if it was like, Lolong's off to the side looking beaten up, going, I'll win next time. Like something minor like that would have been better than nothing at all.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what's happening with was he just the villain of the week? Or, the villain for the year and a half of the tournament? That's another thing.
He needs redemption.
He does. Sure. I don't know if Sanjevich will give enough of a shit to do it, but who knows? That's another thing. I think that's an issue with the format of the tournament, is that you have a good guy team and a bad guy team. Which, I mean, is fine, I guess, but I don't think Purgatory is not supposed to be an evil organization. They're not really bad guys. It's just a competing organization. It's like the Annihilation tournament. They're just competitors. They're just competing in a sports event, essentially. But because Purgatory has to be the bad guys, a lot of them are psychotic assholes with no personality, and then they just lose miserably. It's like the narrative itself is hyping up Kengan to win.
Definitely. And they could have done a little bit more to flesh out some of the Purgatory characters as well. Like, it's hard to root for someone when you don't know them that well. Like, considering these guys from Kengan, we've spent all these chapters with them, seen them fight like once or twice at least.
Yeah, it is a problem with the tournament. Is you have to, for new characters, you have to try and fit a whole bunch of character building and development in like 5 or 6 chapters.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like Kengan did that quite well. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
curious. I
the
can't really put my finger on what the difference was between the way they did it in
the
Ashura and Omega.
the benefit to the format of the tournament in Ashura was that you get introduced to characters. You meet everyone in the first round of the tournament. You get some degree of development or characterization for everyone. Characters that get eliminated in the first round, you basically get the whole gist of their character in the first round, and then as things go on, the characters that you see more and more get more development and characterization
Yeah,
because you just
true.
get to spend more time with them. They become more important as the plot progresses. Whereas with this, you're with everyone like one time for a short time.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's pretty limited. Yeah, and I guess that's the kind of issue with having a competition where it's just one round.
Yeah, that is a flaw of the tournament. At least when you're doing like weekly chapters, and you're not gonna have each fight be like 10 chapters. It's hard to do that. Like Ragnarok does it well, but that's because each chapter is like at least 40 pages.
Yeah,
Um, and they've started making the fights like fucking 10 chapters each now. I don't
it's
know.
true though. I'm pretty sure now we're getting like a fight, almost a fight a year now.
Yeah, each fight is lasting like 7 to 8 months.
Damn.
I
It's still hype,
wonder if
but
we'll get
yeah,
another short fight again, or if like I get we're getting slightly off topic here, but you know I wonder if we're ever gonna have any really fast-paced short fights again, like some of the first fights, or if after like round three was a little longer, there was a little more stuff with round three. Then round four was long, but that was just because of the type of fight that it was and all the narrative stuff going on. But I'm wondering if
yeah,
round four there were probably two realizations going on. The first one was if we spend more time on the fights, we are able to dedicate more time to fleshing out the characters and really working on the narrative and the message of the fight. And then the second realization may have been if we make the fights longer, we can sell more issues of the magazine and sell more volumes.
I see what you're saying.
I feel
Yeah,
like
both are
both of those
pretty plausible.
realizations probably happened. One of them was probably on the part of the creators, the other one was probably on the part of the publishers.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Never really thought about it that way actually.
yeah.
But then that probably means we may be just getting pretty long fights from here on out.
Maybe. I feel like there are going to be some characters where they don't really feel like they should have a long fight. Actually, I
Yeah,
don't know. I feel like we have quite a few set up from here on out that you would set up to have pretty long fights. Either characters where it's going to be a war of attrition, they're just going to be an absolute tank like Rasputin, or, I don't know, Kentoki or Leonidas. Or this is someone where whatever they're doing, they play a long game. They play a waiting game like Okita or Tesla. Those aren't guys that are gonna fucking speed blitz someone unless Okita or not Okita, unless Simo. Yeah, that's the one. Simo seems like a long game one. Unless he just shoots his opponent in the head the instant the
straight
match
away.
starts, that one's probably gonna be a waiting game. Okita could try to speed blitz, but I don't see that happening. Um, I've seen it pointed out that like we're probably not going to get any real low diff fights or anything because then people
No,
who have been excited for a certain character are going to be disappointed when they get low diffed instantly.
that's true. And I guess like certain characters are gonna have like more story in their fights as well. Like I'm guessing this fight between Hades, he's probably gonna have like quite a bit of backstory to do with like Poseidon and whatever happened between like the gods back in the day and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you got to talk about Poseidon, you have to talk about Persephone. Hades has more going on. Well, not more. Hades is he's pretty different from the rest of the Greek gods in terms of like personality, so you would probably want to dedicate a decent amount of time to characterizing him.
True.
Chin is definitely having a second flashback. Like 100% he's having a second flashback, because this one just explains his fighting style. It doesn't explain
Yeah.
his origins. So we're getting a second flashback for him in the future. I have no idea how I do this where I talk all the time and I can't even speak English.
No, I definitely get that a lot. It's like the words just fall out of your head.
Ugh. Yeah, this fight's probably gonna have a lot of meat to it. There's gonna be quite a bit of content. Pixel Gun says, "Yep, that would be awesome." But Lolong was shown to just be an S tier punching bag. I mean, he did most of the punching, to be fair, but a lot of his punches didn't really do much.
That's true. And like I don't like the way they described the way he punches. Like he was like rotating his shoulder blades. It was just.
I
It
feel
just
like,
seemed like something that they just came up on the fly or something like that.
yeah, it's like, oh, he's just doing this thing. Yeah, there's not really anything really special about it. Like, even with Kuroki, it wasn't so much, oh yeah, he's doing this very deep, intricate technique, but they would kind of go into explaining the training for stuff. Because
Yeah.
Kuroki did basics, but he was so good at it because of training. It's like, oh yeah, the dude was doing partial training on like every single joint in his body so that they could all be used as weapons and that they wouldn't be broken easily by people. For Lolong, it was just like, oh yeah, Lolong is really strong, and he's doing a bunch of different stuff to enhance his punches or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I was even expecting like seeing like a younger version of Lolong to see like where he trained or something, but we literally all we got was just like he's been strong all the time, strong enough to kill worm members. It's just like how though?
It's like, yeah, why
Yeah.
is Lolong so powerful? He is. Oh, okay. All right, I see.
Yeah. That was one of the flaws of that fight as well. Like if they had gone a bit more in depth into his backstory, it would have made a lot. It just would have connected a lot more things. I feel.
Well, I'll get into that in a bit. Um, Danielle says none of the fights to me rivaled the best Ashura fights. Yeah, definitely not. Pixel Gun said Jota and Niden fights could rival Ashura. Well, which Ashura fights? I think they're good, but I think like I agree that generally the fights in this tournament were on par or below like first round Annihilation tournament fights.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any of them were like second round quality. Well, maybe some of the lesser fights from the second round, which were still pretty good. Um, Pixel Gun says, yes, it was a shame he was so hyped and was defeated in the most disappointing way. You see, the thing is, we have to say, because people use the word too much, Long's not a jobber.
Nah,
However,
definitely.
if you want to look at the narrative and say Lolong got super hyped up so that Oma could beat him and have an impressive comeback victory, then technically he is. If I want to play devil's advocate here and feed into a narrative.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's a tough one. Ever since like, I could see the argument for it, but ever since that word "jobber" came into the Kengan fan base, it's just been overused.
You see, the thing is, I remember when people started using the word jobber, and I was like, yeah, I mean, some of them definitely feel like it, and I feel like, I may be partially to blame because I started throwing the word around quite a bit, especially when, like, the Allen thing happened. But to be fair, I was very heated when that happened. And
I
Allen
don't blame you.
Allen is straight up a jobber. I mean, he fits the definition perfectly. You put his picture. You can put one half of him on each side, like each page, when you get to that part of the book, for the definition of a jobber. It's a character who's set up as being very powerful so that he can lose to another character and make them look powerful.
Yeah, and it was weird as well because, yeah, I don't understand why he did it that way. Like, we could have easily just got a great fight. Like, it didn't really need to be like that to play into the narrative. Yeah, Ryan could have just beaten him using a lot of different stuff. He could have waited a minute, considering how long it took him to find Edward anyway. He could have just beaten him and then run after him, and then Sanjevich could have said, "Oh, it took him so long because Edward had a head start or something."
Yeah, like I wouldn't have had a problem with the way the fight ended if it came after like 4 chapters of fighting.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was only like two, I think,
It
isn't it?
was we have the chapter where the fight starts, Alan goes into Goihun and attacks Ryan and does literally nothing to him. And then the next chapter is Ryan's like, "Oh, I have a job to do. Get the fuck out of here," and then just kills Alan.
Sanjevich did us dirty on that fight. I can't
You
even
see,
lie.
I'm trying to think. It's because the priority of the tournament, instead of making a tournament and saying, I'm going to make a bunch of great fights, it was, I'm going to do a tournament where we set up future plot points and hype up the Kengan characters.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, if that was like the primary reason, like the whole tournament could have been a lot shorter.
Yes, it
It could
could
have
have.
been cut in half, and I would have
I've
still included it.
No, you know what? We're gonna get into this because I saw a comment about it down here somewhere. I'm gonna get into this into a bit because this is a problem I have with an argument some people make in defense of the tournament and of Sanjevich's writing decisions. Sun Eater wanted to ask you, Niko, what's your idea of a fight between Waka and Lutien if they did that instead?
Ooh, that would have been interesting actually, especially if Lutien used removal, because I'm guessing that could have maybe, as long as he didn't go up to 96%, that probably could have sort of equalized or at least closed the gap between their strengths. And then I'd say Lutien definitely has a skill advantage against Wakatsuki.
Yeah, I think he's brought up the idea in a few previous streams, but his idea behind the fight is essentially Lu is a more perfected version of like round 2 Agito. Or,
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
the Agito that Waka lost miserably against. And so
uh,
you would basically be seeing how has Waka improved in such a way to fight against someone who's essentially the Agito he fought but better. Whereas the current fight
yeah,
against Faye was
basically.
basically how does he improve against someone who fights like Oma.
But Oma, yeah.
Now we would just need to see how he fights against someone who's basically Hatsumi. Or just have him fight Hatsumi again. I don't know. I keep forgetting Hatsumi and Rei are back because we just saw that they were back and there's been no reference to them again. I have no
Nothing
idea.
included.
I have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Even to be fair, they could even get involved in the fights. They could be the ones that end up running into like Tiger Niko or something like that.
Yeah, though I don't think those guys can take Tiger Niko, so probably they join in with the Edward fight.
Yeah, I reckon
Um,
like Ray would just run.
yeah, Ray. Yeah, I think a lot of people undersell how strong Ray is. Like when you're able to, I know speed is not everything, but when you've got speed like Ray, that's kind of fucking ridiculous. And if
Yeah,
you don't have pre-initiative like Kuroki, you're getting knocked the fuck out. Or if you're not a
definitely. Or
straight
if
up
you're
hard
like,
counter to him like Sa Pang, you're getting knocked the fuck out. There are a lot of people that would get Nezu'd by Ray.
in fairness though, guys like Ryan were able to like pick up on that speed, but I guess like the Kore guys are
It would depend on like
faster
character
than average
reaction
every.
speeds and stuff, I suppose.
Yeah,
Though, you know, if Ray, like peak speed Ray, no one could even see the guy. He was that
yeah.
fast. So, dude's kind of up there in my opinion. Um, Skinny Platinum said the Wakatsuki from round 3 might have had a chance against Divine Demon. Why, I might ask? I would assume the current Waka is stronger since there's no reference to him being half-blind or his ankle being fucked up. That is one weird thing. It feels like Sanjurich forgot about a lot of plot points after... Like, after a certain
Yeah.
point in the tournament, it was like, what do you mean characters growing from the Annihilation tournament? What are you talking about? Because prior to that, up through, like, Agito's fight, I guess. Up until after Agito's fight, and even then, we didn't even really see Agito do training or anything. We were just, like, he just got stronger, I guess. We were just, it just happened during the fight. That's the problem I have with that fight, is we didn't see shit from what Agito was doing during the time skip.
Yeah.
After
It'd be
that, it was just like, oh, Ryan uses techniques now. Hayami's a guy. Akoya. Well, we saw Akoya
didn't do
earlier.
anything.
Akoya didn't really do anything new. Nitoku's a guy we've already met. Am I forgetting someone? I am. Okubo! According to the sketches for the chapter, there's a note from Sandrovich that his transitions have gotten faster, but they don't show that or tell us that during the fight. So there's no way
Uh,
to know that unless you know about the pre-chapter sketches.
that's interesting. Oh,
Waka, I guess he's developed countermeasures against the Niko style, but we don't see him doing any kind of training or anything. And then Oma's got a new heart, and that's the one. Oma's the one. For Oma, half the fucking tournament, we don't really spend any time showing how the Kengan characters have gotten stronger. We're just jerking them off. But with Oma, we gotta see everything Oma did to get stronger.
flashback after flashback.
Yeah.
Did Waka even get a flashback in his fight?
He got
That's
a
all.
flashback to. It's not even like a dedicated flashback. It's just him thinking about his strength. It was strange. Like, after a certain point, I guess Sandrovich was like, yeah, these flashbacks are taking up a little bit too much time out of the fight, when I should, be dedicating more of that time to developing the new characters, which he does to some extent, especially the ones that got, like, fully fledged flashbacks. Those are the ones that are more developed.
Yeah.
But with the Kengan characters, it was like, yeah, they're stronger now, whatever. Yeah. Or they're not really, but they're still really strong. Look how cool they are. Jobber Supreme, who I'm pretty sure is Jobber Trading, says Faye is definitely stronger than the Long. I mean, he feels like it. Sun Eater says Faye could have heart surgery like Oma. As Pixel Gun points out later, Faye's veins exploded. It would need a whole transplant. Sun Eater. Every single blood vessel in Faye's body fucking blew up. There are no transplants for that.
Yeah, I don't think even Hanafusa could save him.
His
after
entire circulatory system was shot. He's fucked. There's no way to salvage that unless somehow Hanafusa magic is able to replace a person's entire circulatory system, which is fucking absurd because there's like thousands of veins and stuff.
Yeah, and even then, he'd probably need like a new heart for Faye, like a new heart with Faye's DNA, like he did with Oma.
Yeah, and it was the worm that gave them the heart clone, which still raises the question, why the fuck did they bring Oma back from the dead, and then when he came back they were like, oh shit, Oma's back from the dead? Unless it wasn't the worm, which maybe it wasn't, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a big... Yeah, they need to explain certain stuff a lot more for me. But I guess we'll get it at some point.
Corey, I am not in my second decade quite yet. That's not until next year. But thank you for the late happy birthday wishes. Carasso Zero said, I knew Lolong would be a letdown because Sandra specifically left his reactions out of the whole Waka versus Faye fight. That was weird. It was a massive red flag. It was strange where during certain fights there was a complete lack of Lolong reactions, or just a lack of Purgatory reactions in general.
Yeah, and then like after he died, he just started chatting shit to Oma in their fight. Like,
yeah,
oh yeah, Faye was this and that. It was just a bit random.
Aaron says, don't forget that Divine Demon is basically speed and slow motion. Speed is power in many ways. Being able to perceive your opponent in slow motion is overpowered. Oh, yes it is. Like, slowed down time perception is kind of broken. If you read, like, The Boxer or something, it's like, yeah, you're not really getting touched, generally, if you just perceive everything being slower than everything else does, and it doesn't make you schizophrenic like it does with Kiryu. Sonya says, what about this lineup? Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
Sorry, I was just gonna say I do kind of wish they explained that a bit more as well. Like, they didn't really outright state like why was Kiryu so affected by not Divine Demon, Fallen Demon compared to Faye's Divine Demon.
That's another problem where, wow, how is Faye able to handle, like, Divine Demon? This is, like, the most straining and ridiculous transformation we've seen in the series. How does Faye do it? I don't know. He just does.
Like, even if they just said like a small thing like, "Oh, Faye's body was the perfect thing to have Divine Demon used on," or whatever, like, I'd have been like, "It's dumb, but fine." But they didn't even say anything
Yeah,
about it.
they don't. I'm pretty. Doesn't Faye even say like it doesn't matter why? I just am.
I'm built different.
I'm just built different. Great writing there, Sandrovich. Good job. I feel like most of my critiques for the writing in this tournament is based on the fact that the Annihilation tournament had great writing. And then
Yeah,
in comparison
that's
with this
fair.
tournament, it felt like Sandrovich just kind of stopped giving a shit.
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, sequels always get that kind of slack as well, because it's hard to create that same level of detail. Because I guess like your original piece of work, or your best original piece of work, is going to be that thing that you put all your effort into. Anything past that is just going to be secondary ideas, I guess.
That's why sequels have to be something that you've wanted to do the whole time.
Yeah.
Sunny says, what about this lineup? Faye versus Omo, Waka versus Lutien, and Lolong versus Guido. I think that'd be pretty solid.
Yeah. I do wish we saw Lolong versus Agato, to be fair.
Yeah.
It would have been a good fight. Well, we still might, to be fair, later down the line, but yeah, that would have been a fun thing to watch.
Skinny says, if you think about it, Waka was one of the worst people who could have fought, since he wasn't going to down Faye without exceeding his limit. Oh, well, they didn't know that, like, fucking Faye was going to, be the Tiger's vessel and then blow up. But I get what you're saying, like, Waka doing a war of attrition against Faye. Basically, if Waka didn't get knocked out and Faye just died, then Purgatory would have gotten the win for the round. By the way, we've got 39 viewers and only 26 likes. If you're in here and you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on the stream. Also, I don't know how many of you are new here, but I do have a Discord. I haven't mentioned my Discord like in the middle of a video or at the start of a video in a while. It should be linked down in the description if you like going and discussing Kengan with other people. You should go check it out. Urara says technically Liu is using Taiwanese martial arts, not Chinese martial arts. Ah, yes, that's why he won. It's not technically Chinese martial arts. Remember, kids, Taiwan is its own country. Yeah, minus 1 billion social credit points. Skinny Platinum says Nitoku versus Liu had me the most hyped up each week to read the chapters. It was really good. I was the most hyped when we started Waka versus Faye. That was like 4 weeks right after another of like 10 out of 10 chapters for me. That was great. That was like the peak of the tournament right there.
Yeah. And then they brought it straight back down.
Yeah, straight back down into hell. Aaron says Toe and Faye should have been clear S-tier victors with good writing. Maybe you could say the same for Lolong, but maybe Omo will just be next level from here on out. I mean, it seems like he is. It's clear that he's on the karaoke level now. That seems to be the case. Senator says...
Cool
yeah?
I was going to say, it'd be cool having him being, like, the guy to beat as well, like Ryuki and Koga being, like, kind of like how Agato was in the Annihilation tournament.
Yeah.
Like, kind of that untouchable level that they're aspiring to reach. Be interesting to see, like, how they train to get up there.
Yeah. Sundeer says Carlos was nerfed during his fight. I mean, in terms of, like, the writing, yeah, they were originally going to make Carlos karaoke level, and then just 2 chapters in decided not to. Very strange writing decision, if you ask me. I don't know why they didn't just do that before they started writing the fight. Because when Neve was reading through Omega for the first time, it was basically me vicariously rereading Omega, and I forgot they had an entire chapter hyping Carlos out the ass. It was ridiculous. Like, basically, take maybe like half of the hype Lolong got through the entire tournament and condense it into a single chapter. That's how they hyped up Carlos in that first chapter. And then after the fact, it's just like, oh yeah, Carlos is like a really good boxer, but he's too skinny to have any real punching power, and Gao Lang's able to read his moves. And also because he's so skinny, he's really fragile. And then he gets the shit kicked out of him in a few chapters.
And it wouldn't have really been an issue if Gowlang had ended up winning the fight, but regardless, like, Carlos won either way, so they might as well have just made him win in a legit way.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said Falcon was originally supposed to have the ring out victory. So then they just decided to do it for Carlos instead, and then Falcon ended up having the poison and submission victory. I don't know. I think that fight. I don't know why it would have been an issue for Gowling to lose in a fight against a superior boxer. That would have done a way better job establishing Purgatory as a threat. As instead they established Purgatory rules as a threat.
With Carlos with his face caved in.
Yeah. Urara says Toa versus Julius would have been a lot better if Toa actually managed to fight back against Gottoder. I guess, but I think Gottoder was supposed to be. That's basically how Julius is able to beat Toa. Without Gottoder, Julius gets the shit kicked out of him by Toa. Though it does kind of make Toa look not as strong as he is when Julius pulls out like one new move and then just knocks him out instantly.
True. Like, he was kind of like, it kind of seemed like he was going to be like, not actually Oma, but almost like Oma, but incredibly hench, because he had that kind of technique which was like the water cutter, and then the technique that was like the redirection cutter.
Yeah, I mean, the deal with Toa for me was basically like, if someone with the muscle mass of Julius did martial arts, they would be easy top of the verse. Like, easy.
Yeah.
And not just like Waka degree of martial arts, like Niko style shit, Kuroki dedication to the Kaiwan style. If someone with that kind of muscle mass did that, they'd be unstoppable. And Toa is kind of that. It's a dude with Julius's build that practices a martial art. That's a kind of hacks to martial art. It makes him very powerful. Toa is one of the strongest Purgatory fighters. But then, he gets his shit pushed in.
Which is also why I don't really get why he got like the shit beaten out of him by Lelong with just like, it seems like it's just normal strikes.
That.
It just really didn't make sense. Like,
how was Lelong able to beat Toa? He just did. He's just that good. Oh, okay.
Like, especially because they were talking about the Carlos's punches being really light compared to Gao Lang.
Yeah.
Like, surely it'll be a similar kind of thing with Lelong and Toa.
Sandrovich seems to selectively acknowledge that weight classes exist. Sometimes we're very realistic, and sometimes it's an anime.
Yeah. That's fair. Similar with, what's his name? Misata and Yumigahama.
Oh yeah, why is Misasa able to, like, punch holes in boulders? I don't know, he is.
He's just like, oh yeah, you just need to put a little bit of power in.
Just put a little bit of power as I backhand a crater into this boulder. No explanation of how his techniques allow him to do something that fucking powerful. We explain that Silat is like a soft striking style, but that's it. It's not an explanation of why it's so powerful. We just explain how it works.
Exactly. And then we could have got like a little bit more, considering that Lelong also does Silat. If it all came together, they could have just used that to be like, oh yeah, let's do a bigger explanation here.
Oh yeah, why is he just uses Silat? It's like, oh yeah, he just uses Silat. Has he dedicated like decades to training and mastering Silat? I don't know. They don't tell us.
Oh man. Yeah, that's the biggest flaw of the Kenganverse Purgatory tournament. Just that little bit more information would have made it go.
There could have been.
Further.
You could have just done a little bit more, and it would have increased the quality of the tournament by a lot. But they decided to just not do it. They just didn't seem to really give a shit.
And it's not even the kind of thing that, oh yeah, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing anyway that it could be explained later on. It just seems like something that we should have found out then, and we're not really going to find out again.
Let's see if any of the other people... I realized... I don't know if I made this clear, but, like... You guys in the server with the Kengan role who are interested, you guys can join in the VC too. I don't mind having more people in here to talk.
Chat's
usually.
going quite quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't had a stream this active in a while. I haven't had this many viewers in a while, so we're getting quite a bit of chat activity. I was worried. We got into this, and we got done with like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be like an hour-long stream. Hey, Neve.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
This up.
And I was worried this was gonna be way too short.
Ah,
But then, as it turns out, I'm going to be spending like 2 hours just catching up on the chat. Okay, I finally got to the comment that I wanted to address here. By the way, Neve, you understand what conversation you're getting thrown into right now, right?
power scaling, right?
No, this is no, it's just a general Purgatory tournament discussion.
Ah.
And you caught up
Gotcha.
recently. You read through most of the tournament in one sitting, so you probably have a slightly better view on everything than at least I do. Okay, I got to the comment that I wanted to address. Carasso0 says expectations were the biggest hindrance to this arc, unfortunately. Well, I don't blame the community because Sandra was gassing certain gassing certain aspects, but the community was blind to red flags. It's an anime, or wait, no. Urara says red flags doesn't excuse the amount of purgatory fodder in that tournament. And Carasso says it's an anime manga community, period. Set certain expectations or theory craft, then get bent when the author doesn't follow their narrative. Oh, hey, Playfree, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Okay,
Hey,
so you kind of, they kind of save it there a little bit, where they're like, yeah, Sandrovich was hyping up a lot of stuff, and then just didn't deliver on it, but the community has to temper its expectations. While I think that's fair, I don't think the audience has an obligation to expect the author to be full of shit when they set certain expectations for things.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and also I believe it's a product of the fact that the story kind of was a bit more condensed down than like Ashura. So
oh wait, I realized I
not
can
as
show the
much
stream
time
VC.
in
I
this
didn't turn the
case
VC on.
for expanding upon
Where's
this stuff.
the VC,
So
everyone?
they have to install these moments of hype early on, and in the end, everything is condensed into one fight.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, obviously the perfect example is Lalong, but it applies to other cases. Like
Yeah.
Lalong, he's a character that, while obviously strong, he lives through statements.
Yeah, I think that's a flaw with the format of the tournament, is with characters like Agito and Kuroki, you hyped them up as being really strong, and then you had multiple fights in which you could do that through their feats.
Actually, Kuroki wasn't fully hyped up as really strong.
Oh, that's true,
he just
actually.
Ended up, he was introduced pretty casually, like, oh yeah, that's an underworld assassin. You see him like 4 times, and when I'm saying 4 times, I mean like 4 panels.
Yeah.
Before
Kuroki gets no hype going into his fight with Ruhido. Then after his fight with Ruhido, everyone's like, yeah, that guy's pretty strong. And then we have 3 more rounds of hyping him up as being really fucking strong, not through statements, but by showing him fighting other really strong characters and beating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially his fight with Rei.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that was like the nail in the head for me.
I think with Kiryu, from a narrative perspective, it was like, oh, you beat the main rival.
But Rei, it literally is they put the statement of nobody could see him. Literally nobody. Not even Kuroki is seeing this guy, and yet he's still able to hit him.
Yeah, he's just that good. He's just that fucking strong.
He's just that good. And Akito, yeah, he was given that bit more hype. It's like, oh yeah, he's the Fang. He has this amount of
He is the Fang, and then we go into it, and in every fight we see, why does Agito have this reputation? Why is Agito the Fang? Because he kicks the shit out of other really strong people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just, there needed to be more time to introduce the Purgatory characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
needed to set them up more.
10 to 15 chapters at most. Anything else could have been fine, but like having that, like how Ashura had the boat arc,
yeah,
you know, where we got to go around, meet the different characters, see their interactions. you get something like that instead of the only characters we meet at all beforehand are Yumi, Lou, Falcon, and Nicholas.
Yeah.
And the only ones out of them that really got any form of like I guess a hype or any focus was Nicholas after the interaction with Yumi, where he's like, "Look at them. Maybe I could kill him."
Yeah. And then he was the only one that we really like.
Favorite
What did we set
character,
up?
by
We
the
set up
way.
Yumi is an asshole who betrayed the Kengan Association. That's the setup for his character. Oh, and apparently Agito, he's just as good as you.
Yeah, that was so...
Remember,
Well,
never
no.
listen to a fucking word
No.
Himuro says again.
Himuro did not say. He said, which I guess it's one way of looking at it, but he said he's as strong as you.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe not necessarily a skill.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
could just be a sense of physical power, but it also could actually just be looking at from what I've heard, he has a lot of potential to become really strong, but he then just gave up on that potential.
Yeah, though I think generally, like, when the characters are all sitting there and you get a page with a bunch of reaction panels, they go, oh wow, that guy is really strong, not, oh, that guy has a lot of skill and growth potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Plus, he had the hype of first he's introduced going like, oh yeah, he was a traitor. Then we learn, hey, he beat Jose in a pretty high difficulty fight. We don't get to see the fight, which is fine.
Yeah,
it
because
builds
it's
up like,
not
oh, we
really that
don't know how-
important. It's like, oh yeah.
And it's less of it's not important, because I'd say it's pretty important. It gets us a bit of hatred. Like, oh, one, it shows that, oh man, he's strong enough to beat Jose, who is someone that has been shown to give our protagonist a range of difficulty. Ryuki seemed like if they were to fight, it would have been a fairly even, leaning more towards Ryuki, matchup.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ryuki would not be using more than Earth crouching.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the exact name. Earth Dragon Man. There
Yeah.
you go. He would have been
Yeah,
using
fine.
more than that.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to focus on here is, people get bent out of shape when the author doesn't follow their narrative, their idea for the narrative. I don't think the issue
Sucks for them.
I don't think the issue is necessarily, oh, it doesn't follow the reader's expectations for what happened. I've heard a few times, like, oh, you the author's vision for what they wanted to do and what their idea with this part of the story was supposed to be, and you should judge it based on that. Okay, the idea sucks. I've seen some people say, yeah, you don't like the term because it seems to basically exist to hype up the Kengan characters, but what if that was actually Sandrovich's plan the whole time? Okay, the plan is bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the end, there needs to be a good bridge between here's the author's expectations and then the reader's hype and what they believe should happen. Just a bridging of ideas, so the author achieves what he wants, but also satisfies what the reader wants to see.
I agree. And I also, to be fair, I think there's a slight difference between, like, say if out of nowhere I was just gonna assume, oh yeah, Carlos Medel is gonna be the greatest fighter we've ever seen, instead of kind of it being hinted that he could be Kuroki level and then it turns out that he's not. Like, I think there's a difference between the two of being disappointed on what the result actually is. Like, if I just assumed it out of nowhere, then there's no reason for me to be disappointed because that's my own fault. But if it's kind of hinted or alluded to, you could kind of understand why someone would be disappointed.
Yeah,
of
like,
course.
a strange one is Tarashi, which Karaso brings up. He says Tarashi's the only one I'd comfortably call a bum. So with Tarashi, a little bit before his fight, Tarashi himself says, I'm the weakest one here. So we're like, oh,
Also,
okay.
To be real, that is complete. There is nothing really hyping him up other than he's a character with a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There is
yeah, there's nothing.
with Tarashi.
So Tarashi's
So-
like, oh yeah, I'm weak. So it's like, okay, you're apparently not that strong. However, you make a cool character design. You introduce him having like this very creepy sort of demeanor to him. Like fucking slinking his way into the ring. You give him a name like the Soundless Nightmare or the Silent Nightmare, some shit like that. You're like, damn, that sounds really fucking cool. Tarashi can be weak and still be cool. You don't have to be really strong to be a cool character. But then Tarashi doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really do much.
Like, he could have been like Kaneda, weak but cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like weak, yeah.
I think Tarashi's cool in his own way.
I mean, okay,
It's the
the
idea
scene
of-
with
remember,
Nicholas in
he-
the last chapter,
Oh,
not last
yeah, no,
chapter,
that
but the
was
chapter before, that is, okay, Tarashi stocks are back up a little bit. I like Tarashi for that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a professional. He was sent to go kill Nicholas Labanner, but learned, oh wait, you're not Nicholas Labanner. Okay, I'm leaving.
Alright, cool.
I'm wondering, do you guys think that we're going to actually find out what his face looked like before? Because if not, I don't really see
No.
why they
I
alluded
don't
to him
think.
having...
I
You
think
see-
he's just gonna go change it again. I think it's just the idea of he is an underworld assassin, so he's constantly changing who he is.
I
Depending
imagine
on the job.
the next time we see Tarashi, we may not know it's Tarashi until he's like, "Hi, I'm Tarashi."
Oh,
That would be cool.
That would be
Yeah.
that would be cool,
Um,
for sure.
Damn, I was thinking of something, but I forgot. Fuck. Oh well. Aaron says, "How did Tarashi and Alan Wu get in the tournament without real fights?" Edward was like, "Yo, Idemitsu, put this guy in the tournament," and Idemitsu was like, "Okay." And then Idemitsu saw Tarashi fight like one time by vibrating, and he's like, "That's hilarious. I'm gonna put him in the tournament."
Yeah, because you gotta remember, he wasn't. I mean, obviously, this is probably a team of one of the stronger teams.
And
one of
then
the strongest
Tarashi.
teams you could make, but he stated that his primary thing is he wanted to make an interesting team. So
Yeah.
that's why, like, he chose Falcon. It's like, hey, Falcon has put forward his application for being one of the fighters. It's like, the Falcon. He'd be pretty interesting to
Oh
see
my
fight.
god,
Yeah,
my
go pick-
weeaboo son wants to be in the tournament? Absolutely.
Oh my
Abso-fucking-lutely.
God, my ninja-loving weeb. God, get him in there. Get him in.
Nicholas says Lo Long got nerfed in the end. I don't know if it's nerfing if we didn't really see him do much before his fight. He didn't live up to the hype they built up for him. Aaron said Tarashi could have been an observer and still walked past that weak security. Yeah, the security is shit. It could have just been some random dude from the audience that came in and knocked out the security guard.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Could have been Ja. Oh,
Definitely not on the level of the bodyguards and guardians.
Danielle said, before the tournament even started, I actually believed that Ryan versus Alan Wu was going to be the best fight. I mean, when you're going to have a Kure versus Wu fight, you know, they're both probably going to have removal or something. We know Ryan's really strong. Alan has a really cool design. It seems really obvious that they're going to fight. We have precedent for Ryan having really good fights. And by that I mean, like, he has one of the best fights in the series. Against someone that had similar powers to him. So if you just do that again, it sounds like an easy recipe for one of the best fights in the tournament. And then we didn't do that.
But hey, the chapter is probably one of the best chapters in Omega.
I would have a way better opinion of it if it came at the end of a longer fight.
oh, for sure.
That chapter, for me, there were a bunch of people that I remember seeing where, like, the individual chapter on its own, they were like, this is hype as fuck. This is great. For me, I'm like, the chapter doesn't exist in a vacuum. The
Yeah, of
chapter
course.
is part of a fight that's part of a tournament. And the fight is shit. It's not a
Now, I
fight.
guess
There's
it
no
seems
fight.
Alan is more of a means to an end of going, hey, there are multiple of them. They're
There's
just spares.
multiple. Alan was a setup character for the Edward thing, which is good now. The Edward stuff has been great so far.
'Cause it seems like Solomon, for example. It seems he's pretty confident.
He's
It seems
pretty.
he
I mean,
knows
to be
he
fair,
knows techniques. He isn't very brute.
he's mastered hard slam.
He mastered hard slam. I mean, like, did you see that?
I know. It's
He
great
used hard
now.
slam.
You know, very clear. You know, obviously, it's just we've seen these techniques used with such efficiency that we're just able to recognize them. Sandrovich trusts us to recognize them
So, like,
without
for
being
example, you
told
saw
what they
Fabio,
are.
He
Yeah.
used leg thrust.
Yeah, he used leg
Like,
thrust.
Right there, he used leg thrust. It's like, goddamn. And, you know, Ryan, he was about to use that technique to slice out the eyes, but clearly, Fabio then used, Curry tradition, get over here. And
Yeah,
wrapped his
there
arms
you go.
around him.
Yeah, definitely. You know, clearly, Sandrovich just trusts us enough to recognize Kure techniques as soon as we see them, and it's not that he just had Ryan do a bunch of basic shit and then give it attack names.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, totally.
And then after the fact, totally just didn't even bother.
But yeah,
doing
I guess it was
anything.
more of, they even reflected he was younger. So I guess there's just the idea of, even though he had the personality of Wu Hei, and because of that was also able to unlock his 100% Guihan, he hasn't taken the time to learn techniques.
So far, fellas, 100% Goihun is the same thing as full body armament hockey. You turn into a big veiny Hulk monster, and then you get cut or ripped in half up the middle.
I mean, hey, this is just confirming that we know the fate of Edward eventually.
Oh, fuck.
He's gonna, like I said, we've seen 2 versions of vertical, but we have not seen a horizontal split.
It's gonna be like fucking Law and Virgo.
Yeah,
Just
that's what
you
I
wait.
said. I said it's going to be like Law, fucking popping a man in half.
Oh,
No,
fuck.
that's what,
Okay. The Goihun is worse than because they fucking bulk up, and it looks stupid when they do that. Edward is so puffy already that when he does it, you know it's gonna look awful. It's gonna look so
He's
stupid.
gonna look like He's gonna look like Raiden in Record of Ragnarok right before
Oh,
he gets muscles
fuck.
suppressed down.
It's gonna be
die.
so bad. I know it's gonna be terrible. Like,
And
we're
in
gonna
that
be...
moment, Ryan runs forward, grabs his belly button, and rips him in half.
Listen, this Edward shit is really good so far, but we all know it's gonna be really, really good. If it goes into 100% Goihun, we're just gonna be like, oh...
I think it'll be great.
Now here's what happens, right?
Well, you know,
So when
the
you
thing
come-
is, since I'm already expecting that to not be good, Sandrovich has a chance to impress me.
Oh.
I mean-
Yeah, like, Edward, like, being big is part of the tactic. Because then you can shrink into a ball and roll around.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do the Oliva
Just
technique
roll
of
people over.
like fucking curling up into a ball and then eating Ryan when he attacks it.
Yeah, but of course, since he's growing in size, different from Oliver, so he'll actually be compressing him downwards.
Yeah. Well, no.
He's gonna
What Eddie
spit
will
out
do
Ryan
is
as
he
like a
uses
piece of paper.
Goihun to get big, and then he condenses his muscles with his bare hands, like Zeus.
Oh, you're right.
We're gonna
While the
reach
man
that
alive.
level, don't you worry.
Yes, that'll be amazing. Sure.
Skinny Platinum said tied with karaoke in kindergarten. Oh yeah, Lolong, you
Turning
see...
into basic Kengan slander stream. But here's the thing: we all love Kengan here.
We love
100%.
Kengan. That's why we're
We're not
making
like
fun
the
of
dirty
it.
people that just completely hate on it and then go like, no, I Kengan is for me like top 3 series.
I think Kengan Ashura is in my top 5.
Yeah. I just
Sure, it's my top
it's
third.
the only series I'm too like I have too much hype for it. I can't put it like I can't not put it so high.
Listen,
There's-
folks, if
every
I
week-
didn't...
this was one of the series I was going for the Raws. I was
Oh, yeah, me
reading
too.
multiple times. I'm just like, come on, I can't not rank it high. It's exciting.
Listen,
Even
folks,
if some people are disappointed by some parts, it's exciting.
I'm sure I'll
It's
get to your
lovely.
comments in an hour, but, listen, if I didn't like Kengan, I wouldn't fucking read it. I like Kengan in general. The reason I bitch about these things is because I like Kengan and I wish it did certain things better.
It gets clicks.
Oh, what? No!
Yeah, dude.
No! Not because of that, even though it is my most viewed series at the moment.
No, you bitching about it gets clicks.
Oh, me bitching about... Well, I don't generally include bitching in the titles or anything.
Put that in your next title.
It's like Misc bitches for 10 minutes about something. It's not even Kengan related. I just bitch about like fucking the weather or something. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna just fucking start trying to. Oh yeah. Fucking Lolong. The Lolong we see fight Kuroki is like, yes, this was me when I was 6 years old. This is what a Filipino kindergartner looks like. I was walking to kindergarten, and then out of nowhere, this Japanese karate hobo assassin attacked me, and I managed to fend him off. We fought to a draw, and ever since then, I practice silat every day to protect myself from surprise attacks from Japanese hobo karate assassins. That would be more of that would be more of a backstory and explanation for his strength than we got for Lolong. Other than just he's really strong, cause he is. Don't worry about it.
Too strong.
And he's too strong. Well, that's fine. The too strong thing is fine. But it's like, why is he so powerful? He is. He is.
He's that good.
To the point where even like the Worm were trying to recruit him. Like,
I
at
think
least
that's the problem. Continue.
Oh no, you're welcome to go into the. Oh wait, yeah, Niko.
No, it's because I cut him off.
Oh
so.
yeah, Niko, you go.
No, it's cool. I was pretty much finished to be fair anyway.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead.
No, I was literally just gonna say, yeah, I mean, there's obviously problems with I mean, overall, I think I rate the fight pretty highly, because my problems are not with the fight itself, but either way, I think definitely a problem with Lolong that they didn't need to have was the worm stuff. Making him a worm hunter is like, oh, okay. I don't think they really built upon that too much.
No.
Now all of a sudden he's a worms are joy. I'm like, you didn't need that. You didn't need that though.
They
Like,
made
we still
Lolong into a psycho murderer that doesn't do a jobber face, which I appreciate that he doesn't do a jobber face, but it's like, oh, he's just a fucking psycho that kills people when he fights them because they're too
worms.
weak, because they're worms.
He kills worms. They didn't need to put the worm part.
No, not really.
Or if they did, they could have. They needed to expand on it way more than they did. Like
Hey,
literally
maybe
just
we
beginning of a
could
chapter.
see more of it.
Listen,
I think they should have just had
second
more
half.
of a what do you say, purgatory related backstory. I was about to say something else, but wrong series.
Second half of the tournament increased the quality of the fights, but they didn't dedicate as much time to fleshing out some of the characters.
Yeah, maybe it's because they used to do breaks every so often, isn't it?
Yeah, they haven't done a break in like
Maybe
a
without-
year.
Yeah, maybe they were just trying to like rush it and finish it. as soon as
Maybe. I
possible.
mean, I definitely
Maybe.
think there were some parts of the tournament, especially when we got to the Ryan and Alan thing. I was like, oh, Sandridge just wants this to be over with. I can tell he just wants to get through this shit. How ironic that Alan marks the halfway point of the tournament. That feels intentional.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, as much
He
as I
became
fucking
the
hate that
best
shit with
and
the
worst
burning
part,
passion,
the top of the verse and the bottom.
you could fit the entire verse between both halves of Alan. You see, as fucking awful as what happened with Alan is, I can't deny, I will meme that until the ends of the fucking earth.
Oh, like some other people in the server do it. Some other things.
Yeah, but with this, I will
Yeah.
actually try to portray. I will try to exert some small degree of creativity, as minor as it may be. I'm not just gonna put the fucking Lu tongue on literally every picture of a person. Neve.
To counter that, fuck you.
Oh, that's fair.
To counter that, you're a bitch.
Fuck. Urara says Wu Jing has such a cool character design. I want to see him have more good characterization. Yeah, he's pretty neat so far.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, Beast Titan is here. The kings of Kengan are here. And what a coincidence they are talking about my king. It's good to see you, Beast Titan. The Filthy Raptor says, hey, Misk, I just started reading Kengan, like, just finished the first chapter. Should I read the .01 chapter before I keep reading the main story? I assume he means, like, Kengan Ashura
Volume
0.
zero.
Is there a
Volume
certain
Zero.
point he should read Volume 0?
I read it
I-
beforehand. I think I enjoyed reading beforehand, but it definitely does introduce a bias, which for me I think was a good thing overall because it changed my expectations for
I see.
certain things, or shocked me. I had expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised when certain events happened.
Yeah, then
you
you
read them
can...
whenever you want.
Yeah, read it whenever you want, I guess. Nick Soul 97 says it felt like I watched a Naruto movie. How they beat a main villain with how the Purgatory tournament ended.
Oh man,
Ooh.
this on what's a thing you've been saying a lot, Miss?
What?
Specifically about a certain Lutien?
What, the Lu Tien acts like a Naruto filler villain?
Yeah. Funny commentary.
Oh, you see, I actually have multiple of the super strong power-ups, and also, I'm so much more powerful than the main villain. Even he cannot defeat me.
Yeah.
Classic love words.
Thank you for the well wishes, Beast Titan. Urara says Kengan fandom slowly turning into the AOT fandom with all these desires for rewrites. A little, but since this isn't the end of the story, I don't consider the cope to be quite as egregious. Now, if someone's
Yeah.
rewriting the end of the story or some shit, then I'm like, yeah, that's bad. That's bad as fuck. But when you have, like, character fights and stuff, I feel like people rewrite those.
All the time.
I feel like that's a common thing that happens.
Because it's like, oh, what if this happened instead? What if this matchup happened?
Nick says it's hard to compare this to the Annihilation Tournament, though. In the Annihilation Tournament, they have those
You
characters
shouldn't.
where they were able to see the longevity and struggle round for round for Oma. Yeah, I brought that up earlier.
You shouldn't compare it to the.
They're
Annihilation
very
tournament.
different, though I feel like the type of format that this tournament had was to its detriment in terms of
Yeah.
like the characters and stuff.
That's why
Carasso
Ragnarok
says,
is monthly.
yeah, well, regular Ragnarok's monthly, and that means the chapters are longer, so they're able to dedicate more time. And also, just in terms of like sheer chapter count, Ragnarok has longer fights than Kengan does.
Yeah.
So they're able to fit that in there more comfortably than they were able to
Right.
in this tournament.
Being weekly, and doing that, it just would have been.
It would have,
felt
to
really
be
dragged
fair,
on.
it would have killed
Yeah.
the shit out of the pacing.
Yeah, because you'd
Definitely.
read it, you'd be like, oh my god,
Which is
they're
why
back to punching
I-
one another.
I agree with Playfree's take. They should have done more setup for Purgatory before the tournament, so we didn't have to worry about fitting it into the fights.
Or
At least
time
not
in
as much.
between
Like doing
rounds.
like
Just-
whole character backstories in the fight. Or yeah, do it between the rounds.
Yeah, they had a
Or
few moments, but like, give some breaks. Be like, oh, okay.
That's
we're
another
gonna be
thing
taking
too. Like at the start of the tournament, there was a lot of scenes where they were setting up the relationships and dynamics between the Purgatory fighters, and then after a while, there was just none of that.
Yeah.
Well, because all the Purgatory fighters were out of commission.
Yeah.
And it seems
There was
like
also a
that's
severe
problem.
lack of Purgatory commentary during the fights. It's like we forgot that the Purgatory team is also watching and invested in the fights.
Realistically, they probably should have done something similar. Like you guys, someone mentioned Kengan Zero. They
Yeah.
could have done something similar to that before the actual competition, and it would have flowed a lot better, maybe.
Probably. Carasso said gassing Lolong seemed to be taken to the extreme, but once Oma versus Lolong was announced, everyone should have taken a step back and realized what was going to happen. Unfortunately, people were still gassing Lolong and swearing he was going to win. I totally wasn't doing that.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, majority of people thought Omo was gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, if you asked 10 people, majority probably 7-3 maybe.
Skinny Platinum
I-
says, so long, don't care. His character is good, just good, not amazing or great, just good. I don't even, it's just there. Like, his character's just kind of present. It seemed like they were setting some stuff up with the second to last chapter of the fight. If you guys remember my reaction to that chapter, I really liked that chapter. I liked the way it was setting up the end of the fight, and then just not really anything was done with it. And that's my big problem with the tournament in general, is we set up a lot of great stuff, and then just didn't really do that much with most of it.
Yeah,
Just
like you
needed
could say,
longer
like,
chapters.
Beast Titan says, Skinny Platinum, you have one foot in the grave. Choose your words carefully when addressing the king.
Oh.
Sun Eater said, would a bi-weekly release of Kengan Omega due to more time improve it? Fuck no, then the pacing would just be worse.
yeah,
And, I think it's more of like maybe right before the final chapter of Ngoma. That's when they could have taken a break, make that chapter much longer. Because that's like all it needed. It just needed length. It needed be a bit meatier. Because people were just caught off guard by how sudden it ended.
Urara says,
Ending with the smash is fine, but
yeah.
let's give a little more build up to that smash.
Urara says, why do people from the subreddit keep assuming that Simo's going to one-shot his opponent? That ain't gonna happen. Author's not a fan of one-sided matchups. I think if for Simo's fight he does one attack and that's a kill shot, it'll be after a fucking slog. I think there may be at least one fight in Ragnarok where it's totally one-sided, and then the person getting beaten on does a total 180 at the end of the fight. Not out of nowhere. They're setting up the 180 the whole time, but it happens. The two fighters I could see that happening with the most are Simo and Tesla.
I think what they mean is that they think there's going to be an Allen fight in Record of Ragnarok.
Oh, I hope not. Well, they say one shot. The Allen fight wasn't exactly a one shot, but I doubt that we're going to have a low diff fight, because there are people that are fans of and hyped up to see various characters and historical figures fight. So then if you have the character they've been really excited for get shit on, like instantly, you're gonna have a problem.
The main
I
reason
feel like
Ragnarok can't do that is because there are no other arcs.
Yeah, it's just this. Well, and then maybe some stuff that we've been slowly setting up to happen towards the end of the story. The background
Imagine
stuff.
if they had a sequel series where they had another tournament, but just for fun this time.
I mean, I guess
No,
that'd
yeah,
be entertaining, but I don't think there's a
Pretty
need for
interesting.
that. I feel like that's mostly something that they can just say that happens. Part of the appeal of Record of Ragnarok is the stakes behind the tournament. So then if you do another series where those stakes don't exist, it's kind of like, well, what's the point?
Well, there's literally no stakes for the gods except losing a couple people.
Yeah, that's because humanity is the protagonist side. As much as we like rooting for both characters, in terms of the overall narrative, humanity is the protagonist side.
That's another unique thing, is normally in a tournament like this, they want you to decide who you want to win, but we always want the human to win.
Nah, sometimes we root for the god
Unless
fighter.
it's round 4.
Yeah, but I think that's just kind of just to be different.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, you're gonna be like, I want the human to win because you want humans to win.
Yeah.
But
Though
also-
sometimes the god fighter's a
That's
cool
correct.
dude. Cooler dude than the human fighter, and you're like, I think I'd prefer you stick around.
Personally, yes, but objectively, that would make you a traitor to your own race.
It would make you some kind of race traitor to humanity, yes. Let's see.
So now that Keen is not a traitor to humanity, do you think there actually will be one? Of
I'm not finding it to be particularly likely. Fuck, it took me all the way down to caught up. I'm gonna have to speed through this shit. We have like another hour's worth of comments here. Holy fuck.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm back to... Let's see, what's here? Jobber says
After
along is
5
literally
minutes of
discount
chocolate
Jiren.
dinner, I'm probably able to join the call.
Cool. Nick says, we got more substance of character from Faye compared to Lolong. Lolong's backstory is bland of, oh, he's just too strong and hasn't met his match. Yeah, like, Faye had much more character going for him than Lolong did. With Lolong, we needed more of that detail. It was just, man, Lolong sure is powerful. Why? I don't know.
On the other hand, the earliest time we meet Faye He's already completed his training and is implied to be in like his 30s.
Yeah.
At least we know what Lo Long was like when he was 15.
Yeah. Seems like he was also a really strong psycho murderer, and we don't know why.
This could have been solved if they just they didn't have the worm stuff. For,
Yeah, instead of
Lo
having
Long,
it be
and
he's a
instead
worm
of-
hunter,
and
just
have
have it
a
be...
have a purgatory focus backstory.
That's what
you
I
know.
wanted. I wanted Lo Long to have a purgatory focus backstory, and then they didn't do it.
Like you still have the scene with him tying with Kuroki.
Oh, right. Oh,
But,
wait. I
like-
have to specify, because I just played into that there. No, the problem isn't that they didn't do what I wanted. The problem is, I looked at what they went with, and I think this does not do as much for Lo Long's character as
Yeah,
what I
as
thought
this
they would have done
potentially.
did. I think that the idea I came up with would have been better. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying or thinking something like that. People think shit like that all the time. Whenever you watch a movie or something and you're like, yeah, this is pretty good, but this could have been done better, that's you going, my idea for this would have been better than the creators. MJL says, Oma's turned into a bit of a Mary Sue. I'd appreciate if they moved the main character focus away from him and onto someone like Rahito. Well, we have. We all forgot that Koga's the main character, didn't we?
Yeah.
Koga is our
Okay.
up-and-coming shonen protagonist main character. He's the guy that we're watching get stronger. You could argue that showing Oma as being fucking godlike is for the purpose of being, hey Koga, how do you plan on beating that in the future? Well, hopefully we're gonna see that.
Yeah. Hopefully not in a year's time, though. Like you
Yeah.
said.
Maybe a little bit of, you do a little training montage, do a little flashing between stuff. Maybe don't spend the next 3 years just doing a training arc.
No, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year. 1 year.
Just
he's
1
getting to that
year of
level.
chapters.
He is the greatest martial arts.
Oh, right,
prodigy
yeah,
all
of course.
time.
I'm not saying in terms of in-universe. I'm talking out-of-universe in terms of chapters. Yeah, Koga, the
Oh, of
greatest
course.
martial arts prodigy of our generation. Put him with the right guys. Yeah, he'll be fucking top tier in a year. Don't you worry about it.
He goes
You
to
know what they're gonna
Julius.
do,
He's like,
right?
Julius, how can I come at you? And then Julius just hands him
Julius,
some drugs
do-
and says, become stronger.
You just
Become
need
strong.
more scoops, Koga.
You don't need this technique. This is all garbage.
Just
Here you go, this is
more
the real
scoops.
technique.
Just
You want me
more
to
scoops play
overdose
for
on
you.
steroids? But if you live, you will become powerful.
Take enough steroids to kill an elephant.
Oh,
Nah, he was-
that reminds me of the new Baki thing with Jack.
Well, because
What?
Jack's thing has always been taking steroids.
Do you know what Jack's philosophy is?
What exactly is it?
If you're not taking every possible advantage you can think of, no matter what the risk is, then you're not trying hard enough, and you're not taking this seriously.
Well, that's
This
fair.
isn't a game; it's a fight.
That's fair.
There is some logic to it.
The only exception is don't bring weapons.
Yeah, don't
Other
bring
than that,
weapons.
anything is game. Unless
Um,
your weapons are metal teeth, then it's perfectly fine.
yeah. Skinny says, don't forget that even though the Purgatory was full of jobbers, it gave us some of the best and most likable characters. Yeah, one of the best things from the tournament was that a lot of the new characters were really good. A lot of really entertaining characters. The legitimate
turn.
king of Britannia says half of the characters from Purgatory had the personality of a slice of bread, sadly. A few. The more jobber ones, Toa, Yumi, Lou, Alan, those guys don't really have any personality. Tarashi has some personality, and Lolong really not much personality. We got some teasing to it that then went nowhere.
Yeah.
Wait, what do
guys
you
think
mean
that-
he doesn't have a personality? His hobby is stated to be murder.
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
Oh yeah, it's the personality.
My personality
Niko.
trait is murdering people. I'm literally
Yeah.
neurodivergent and 5,000 years old. What do you mean,
And
stop
also
murdering
5
people? I'm also 5 people. Literally
Yeah.
karaoke, and no, they're literally all me.
You'll get your turn.
I think they actually said it was something like One of them is the ego, one of them is the id, one of them is the super ego, or something like that.
They might have. I mean, because
Okay.
Eddie said he possesses the ego of Wu Hei.
Yeah, which would make me think that Alan was like the base primal desires and instincts of Wu.
Maybe, though, it does seem like a bit
Hence
of a
the murder.
problem if we start shedding off parts of Wu Hei over the generations because they kept getting killed.
Oh, sorry, a fundamental part of my personality was robbed of me yesterday. Some guy ripped him in half.
Do the 5 guys all do Hui Sheng for one next dude? It's just 5 guys all constantly talking to this other dude, so that
I
he gets
wonder
the whole
how early they
personality.
how early they start doing
Oh,
that.
probably from birth.
Yeah.
Well,
Most
I mean,
likely.
how, like, when they decide, oh, I'm getting old enough, I need to start brainwashing someone else for me.
They probably do it as soon as they find some kind of heir. I don't know if it's necessarily an age thing. I think it's just after a while. It's like, ooh, I've comfortably become Wu Hei. Got to start working on the next one.
It would be weird to coexist with somebody who's literally just you.
Well, as they point out, that wouldn't work if there were too many of them. So they got to call each other different names. I imagine it would be like having clones of yourself or something.
True.
Have them do
I wonder-
chores around the house.
I've noticed the westward.
Please let
faction-
Niko speak. He's been trying for so long.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm
You're
not sure I've
best.
actually met Nico's there before.
I can't. I just see him like try and speak, and then Edward's like, I'm like, okay, your turn. All right, go, Niko.
I just forgot what I was gonna say now.
Oh my goodness.
I think
It's all your fault.
I think I was gonna say. I wonder if, like the reason maybe that Edward's actually the head is. Well, I had two things, but the first one was I wonder if the reason Edward's the head is maybe just that he's by default the strongest out of the 5 of them in theory. So like, if they did try and do a mutiny, he could defeat a certain number of them before asserting his dominance.
That sounds pretty
And then-
plausible.
The second one was back to when we were talking about Lolong, because like yeah, you're right. He doesn't really have any personality to him, but maybe because he's now lost for the first time, maybe this will kind of spur some kind of side storyline for him.
Hopefully, if
It'll
Sandrovich
humble him.
decides to still do something with him.
Yeah, true. Some kind of dedication to actually like train in a different way or something like that, or maybe like now he second guesses himself because he can lose.
Wouldn't it be
Well-
sick if the next volume cover, like the volume that has that fight in it, doesn't even have Lolong on the cover? Like Lolong
That'd be
just never
funny.
gets a volume cover?
Yeah, probably be him or Oma, but probably him because Oma's already had 2 covers.
No,
I
it's
think
like,
it's the same.
here's Faye, because that may be in the same volume. Actually, no, I think the Lolong fight's long enough to have its own volume.
Oh,
Well,
no,
yeah.
actually it is.
Okay, so if they don't have Lolong on there, I'm gonna laugh. I'm just gonna laugh my ass off if that happens.
But going to the Edward comment, I think I mean, they probably just choose. Like, my guess is the previous successor chooses someone to be like, hey, you're gonna be my the inheritor of my will, who's the will and ego of Wu Hei, and then he decided, hey, wait a minute, why are we just doing one person? Let's get a few backups, and then when I'm fully ready to pass it on, then if I go away, there'll be spares. They all have the personality. I think it literally is just the difference is, from what it's seen, Edward's a lot more masterful with his martial arts.
Yeah.
Maybe they all take turns doing the brainwashing on one person, and the more complete it is, the more people got to do it to them.
I mean, the interesting thing is Solomon looks to be the oldest of them. He looks older. Maybe that's just the hair color, but he looks older.
Also
Yeah,
known as the
Edward's just a
Westward
good-looking guy.
faction, seems to be European.
Edward just has
Just
the best
their
genes.
names.
Yeah, they all seem
Yeah.
to be European,
Yeah,
Or
'cause the
American.
Russian- oh,
which is funny because then Alan seems to clearly be Chinese. But I guess is Alan an actual worm member?
Alan,
No.
they said he was from like the far west, where he was like Mongolian or something. And they get real big because it's so cold there.
Well, that just seems to be a thing with the Western faction in general.
Yeah, I think it's just more of the idea of he used fight just like that because maybe he spent more time in China since he was said to have killed the most amount of Wu
Yeah,
from
that's
the
that's
main
probably
line.
the case.
Yeah. Like, they all just go to the other people's places and just murder their siblings and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's the third Saturday of the month. Time to go murder my cousins.
Alright, who's
Literally
dead?
every
Who
person in
died?
the room in this fight right
My
now
second great aunt.
physical
My
vendetta.
It's like kind of hilarious. It's comedic that literally all of them have family members that have been murdered by the other people in the room.
Imagine if a fight happened and there was 7 Inigo Montoyas happened.
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
You all get that reference.
Jobber Supreme says, I pity the Kengan team for having to fight Lolong. Legit, what did Carlos mean by this?
I mean,
Well, I
Really?
feel like it's implied that he was like, oh yeah, whoever they send to fight Lolong is gonna lose. However, Carlos didn't realize that Oma's the old main character, so...
yeah.
There was also a kind of thing where it seemed like they were like, oh, we need to stop Lolong from going too far. But they didn't really pick that up. Do you know when he was fighting Okoya and Nabana?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
And
it was
like, we don't
implied
need to
from his
stop recording
backstory
that.
that he would have, like, straight up fucking killed them or something, but...
Yeah.
He would have
That's
just kept
another
beating them.
thing
You're
to,
weak. You're weak. Goddamn, you're so weak.
That's another thing to point out, guys. That couple chapters ago seems to have quelled the doubts about who is actually winning the fight between Nicholas and Okoya. Because Nicholas is in a dementia-fueled coma, and Okoya is just squatting with a bandage on.
Well, to be fair, Okoya was not already, schizophrenic.
And also, it's more of the idea that
Well, one of
Nicholas's
them's on a
strikes
freak
were
with the
to
left
the
hand, and the other one
nerves.
is just sitting down.
The effects of Nicholas wear off a lot sooner than the effects of being bitten in your collar.
And being,
Collar butt area
headbutted
and
like
the
half a dozen
tricep.
times by a dude who's
Yeah.
like 50% larger than you,
Right.
and then having your face smashed into concrete.
It's also
Yeah.
ironic.
I think
Okoya-
overall, I still think Nicholas would have won. But he probably would have left in a worse state. It's the
like
difference
his
that they've
fight
had the
with
remainder of the
Cosmo.
tournament, but yeah.
Okoya
Continue.
never comes out of a fight seriously injured, even if he loses.
That's true. He's a little roughed up. He has a black eye, or some kind of injury around his eye. That's happened like twice now. People keep kicking him in the face.
They keep trying to grab his balls.
Yeah, people keep kicking Okoye in the face and trying to grab his nuts.
Maybe he should stop wearing bike shorts to fight.
No, I've found fucking characters
Listen.
that wear like bike shorts to fight. So I'm like, that's hilarious. That does not seem comfortable to fight, and I would wear like
Nicholas
fucking
just had-
basketball shorts or something.
Okoye just has some grabbable balls.
He's
What-
very
what can we
grabbable
say?
nuts.
He is some really attractive, grabbable nuts.
I would have loved the like side chapter Amake thing where Hiyama notices and she's like, "Those are mine."
Yeah, it's called the
Jesus.
chapter where they're
Only
introduced
I
and
can
they're
grab the
banging
balls.
each other.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a small lag.
That is such an
Nick
unhealthy
Saul says
relationship.
round 1 of the Annihilation Tournament or the Purgatory Tournament, which is better?
One's twice as long.
Oh, right. Well, one's 16 rounds. Or, you know, one has 16 fights, one has 13 fights.
Oh wait, no, I was getting mixed up because of just how many fighters there are.
Yeah, twice as many... No, not twice as many. We're bad at math here.
I'd say maybe I'd give it to the Kengan versus Poetry competition for round 1.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, the peaks of the Purgatory Tournament I would have higher than the peaks of the first round of the Annihilation Tournament.
If we're counting the art, then definitely Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, the fights are way less one-sided usually in Omega
Yeah.
compared to round 1 of Annihilation.
True.
MJL
Half the fights in
says...
Annihilation Tournament round 1 were basically over in a chapter.
Yeah, that because the first round was for weeding out the fodder. MJ says, maybe I'm in the minority, but I'd really like if Kengan focused more on Rahito and his relationship with Kuroki, not really feeling the whole worm taking over the world conspiracy storyline. I would like if we got a little more focus on that.
Ooh, training arc with Koga training with Rahito.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Koga, do you want to get strong enough to beat Oma? Go train with the guy that beat Oma.
And the guy
No.
who keeps losing.
And the guy who keeps losing all the time, and also lost for the first time to Oma.
No, I won't take you as my student. But okay, maybe. All right, fine. Come with me to America. You'll be my student.
Oh, what do you mean you're bringing the weeaboo along with you?
God
Fine,
damn
he
it,
can come
why do I
along,
have
but
to
I'm
deal
not
with all
training him.
Ah, shit, who invited this guy?
Why is
Alright,
this
now,
pink-haired
guys,
teenager
listen, I'm
here?
gonna tell you how to be stronger. I thought you weren't gonna teach him. Shut up.
Shut up! Don't worry.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna,
I feel
I'm
like
going to beat you for
Kuroki.
that.
Kuroki
beat
is
you with
like
my
me.
hands.
I'm literally Kuroki, and that, like, whenever people are like having trouble with something, I always want to give people like advice on stuff, even if I'm not like actively trying to like fucking train them in something. I always feel the need to give people advice on things. Like anytime
got his
someone's like, "Yeah, I have an
father
issue with
instinct
something," I'm
kicking
like,
in.
"Well, I have no experience in that, but."
His fatherly instincts are kicking in.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't believe Falcon went from the most serious-looking character to literally, it's practical. Believe it.
Oh yeah. Listen, Falcon is by far the most entertaining thing to come from this tournament.
Oh, for sure.
He is great. Anyone who
Seems
doesn't
like
like
You're a
Falcon,
Nicholas fan, you know.
if people don't like Falcon, they don't have taste. He's too funny.
they don't?
He is a great comic relief character. He's hilarious.
And I feel like on some level that's slightly how Sanjovic views us as well. Like all of the people that read
We're all
Kengan.
stupid.
Yeah, we're all
I
idiots.
His fighting style. is
See,
so kinda
they say,
confusing.
"Oh, you
How it's
shouldn't
expressed.
treat your readers as idiots," but he's like, "I don't need to treat them. I know they
I
are."
know they're stupid.
What? What? It's a martial arts. I
Fighting
know,
style.
like none of these people have practiced martial arts. Actually, shut up. You haven't. Your experience, not real.
He uses magician training sleight of hand to distract your eyes from where he's gonna hit you.
Oh fuck. Sun Eater
And
says
700
Koga.
chapters of Naruto.
Oh yeah. Sun Eater says Koga is the strongest due to his jobber aura. Ah yes, the jobber aura. Remember, kids, when someone comes into like direct contact with Koga, it doesn't end well. Remember, Yumi very hyped up. Then he smacks Koga. What ends up happening to Yumi?
Jobbing.
There you go. Ryuki hangs out with Koga a bunch after seeming really strong. What's happening? Then he gets into fights where he gets his ass kicked. Jia G, need I say more? Direct contact front kick.
Jose.
Oh god.
Jose
gets his fucking
gets
face
beaten by
caved in.
Yumi, who eventually gets his face caved in. A lot of
Did you
face caved
mention-
dudes.
Did you
I see that
mention-
happened to Ryuki as well against Sequoia. A lot of people get their face caved in when they're around Koga.
Oh
I thought
god.
he was gonna say Ryuki versus Nidon, where he's getting shit on the whole time.
Jeez.
Fucking, I remember like when fucking after Agito's fight where he like got tired and fell onto one knee, a bunch of people were like, "Oh no, it's the Jabber aura. It's getting to him. He's standing too close to Koga."
Koga's plot armor is so powerful that he makes other people around him weaker by draining
It's
their
like,
armor.
yeah,
Oh,
his
look at this
plot
Conqueror's
armor, his
acting.
plot
He's
armor
just
is
an
not
advanced
him
he is
becoming
a
more.
Conqueror's acting. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
100%.
It's just being around him. It's like, oh my god.
Koga's
Remember,
plot
he
armor
fought off-
doesn't. He doesn't have plot armor. He has plot poison. Instead of himself being protected, he makes other characters weaker.
Remember,
So it's
he
the same as
fought off, what,
Kuroki.
Yeah.
7 armed
Anti-plot
worm
armor.
agents while bleeding out the whole time and won,
Yeah, but those were a bunch of random worm guys.
but they had weapons.
Oh yeah,
How
that's
often
true.
Does any fighter in the series have to deal with that?
Yeah, it is of note. You know, fighting a dude with a weapon is different than fighting a dude who's barehanded.
Even Ryan got fucked up a bit by 2 guys with weapons.
Caraxus says, wait for Eddie to unleash 130% Goihun and look like Toguro. I'm waiting for his fucking muscles to turn into a shell. It's gonna turn into like his muscle mass is going to start growing appendages and stuff. He's gonna turn into a Resident Evil monster. He's gonna turn into fucking Birkin.
I
What
got
if
biceps on my biceps.
What if he
Yeah,
just
then-
pulls an Adamas?
Ace, I joked about that like an hour ago. He
What
gets
if he
so
just
big,
compresses all
he's
his
so
muscles and he
huge,
gets
and then he
muscular?
condenses. Then he becomes skinny. Then he actually looks like a normal guy. Or no,
Yeah,
he
he's
looks like
better.
Carlos. He becomes real.
He becomes real.
Yeah.
Then Eddie just becomes like a fucking photocopy real life person.
It's
in a
like that
manga.
one Fire Force chapter.
Oh god. I vaguely know what you're talking
Yeah. Um.
about.
Good there.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what I can skip over and what needs to be addressed in the chat.
Damn.
Carasso says, oh wait, no. King says Sigma rule number, big. Be strong, don't explain how and why. There you go.
Hey, that.
Carasso says it's a very good point. I've seen people bring up the arc being condensed because the worm part is the most important part, so we got a lot of artificial gas. Yeah. Caraxus says, in my opinion, the main red flags were that Lucian and Faye became top 5 while severely holding back and merely using phony arts they didn't really master. That's true. Sunny says Misasa versus Yumi should have had something like Adam versus Cosmo. When Yumi lands a hit on Misasa, he should have been like, if he hits me like that several times, it'll be bad. Yeah, there wasn't really enough. There was like that one point where Misasa was like, oh, I should have just let Kano handle this. And then we don't really see why, because he then proceeds to fucking massacre Yumi. I guess he was like, oh man, I don't like being minorly inconvenienced by this dude doing like skin level lacerations on me. Should have just let Kano handle it, and then just straight up murder him.
Yeah, pretty sure it was just the this guy is. I want to draw him out. What was that? I don't remember the name of the other execution squad guy, but he's just like, oh, he likes playing with this food. That like he draws it out. Bad habit.
Yeah.
So I think that was it's like, man, this is just. I gotta draw this out. I should have just let Kano handle it. It would have been the same.
I just realized how like trash he was. It was like, oh, what a waste of time.
Oh, hey, Det. Welcome.
Hey.
Hi, I don't think I know you.
Dude,
Oh,
this is
that's a
big.
guy that's been on here for a while. He's just not the most active.
And when Yumi was introduced, he was next to Lucian and Nicholas, and we're like,
Oh, yeah, that's
and
why
he's like,
everyone...
sidekick. Turns out they're even more psychopathic and powerful than Yumi. They probably just treat him like a yapping dog that they like to watch goof off.
Isn't it weird that Yumi is the most normal person out of that trio? The monkey trio.
Asshole.
Everybody does a monkey pose at some point in that trio. Nicholas is, well, somehow he ended up the best out of the three of them because he still exists.
He's probably just gonna have this thing where he talks to himself now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really. I mean, he probably is gonna return again, but probably in a minor way.
Yeah, probably.
His character's been complete
Yeah.
because in the end, what Sandrovich does is he introduces characters and they play their role, and once their role is served, they'll either return as, you know, a minor character or just not return to the series.
So long, Lolong.
Look, what's it called? That one worm member, the one that cries all the time. I feel like he's gonna be kind of like OP. He's gonna fight those dudes.
What, Gia?
Zia? Oh yeah, he's totally, you know. He
Oh
got,
yeah,
like,
Gia,
two-shot by Ryan.
the guy that got two-shotted by Ryan.
He's totally gonna be able to take on Kureishi. And
Oh yeah,
Jin.
he's
Totally.
definitely gonna take on 2 top-tier characters by himself.
He literally had his hand dislocated before he even knew what was
in the
happening.
next 2 weeks, bro, I'm gonna come back here and I'll be like,
Yeah,
I told
you're
you
gonna
so.
come back. I told you, as he's literally just a literal puddle of meat and
No,
bones
as he
because
stands-
Kureishi has dislocated every
No, as
joint
he
in his
stands
body.
over them. He stands over them, bro. As he stands
The
over them.
last chapter was literally him running and screaming and crying. Gotta get away, they're monsters, I'm scared, help me, mommy.
Nah, watch. They're gonna get beat up. Watch.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
yeah, definitely.
He even said fighting's not my forte, I'm an intelligent.
Keep those. Remember what you said today, and then remember.
Oh, don't worry, we will that, and we'll remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian says only Nicholas and Liu lived up to the hype. Well, Nicholas lived up to the hype. The thing about Liu is that there wasn't really too much hype building up to his character, and that's why people were pleasantly surprised. Even though
His hype
I was
was
expecting
over.
him to be pretty good.
I didn't even realize he
What do
had
you
a
mean? I
ponytail.
think Toa lived to his hype. I think. What do you say? Next, I think Gerudo
Yeah, I
lived
think
to
there
his
were other
hype.
characters that lived up to the hype too.
What hype did Toa have besides beak?
Being big. He was
Being
big.
big.
Oh yeah, he
And
lived up to
you
the hype
know,
of being a large
gave an
fella.
impressive big man fight. That's what he did. Gerudo, he clapped, and he stayed true to who he was. But then in the end, staying true to who he was, it cost him the match.
Danielle
fine.
says, does anybody believe we'll get any fights that clear-cut rival the best fights in Ashura? Maybe.
Hopefully.
I think we already got some. I think.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah, because
He was
guess
pretty
what?
good.
Guess what? In the end, it's an opinion. It's subjective.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
To some people, they've already read the best fights in the entire Kengan series in Omega.
I
to
can't wait
others.
to meet. You know, there's at least a couple guys out there. You go on the Reddit, you'll find them. Yeah, I like the Purgatory tournament more than the Annihilation tournament. You'll find them. They're out there. They exist.
Do I?
They
do
have
I
to.
agree? No.
It's a
but do I
mathematical
respect your
certainty.
opinion?
There's gonna be at
Yes.
least
Yeah.
one. Oh, I finally reached the Kengan slander stream comment after actually almost an hour.
Nice.
It's been
You did
exactly
it.
45 minutes.
Oh my
You've
goodness.
done it.
Fuck. Christian said Sandra dropped the ball on the long. It's a good fight, but not end of the tournament worthy. Yeah, I think if they switched that fight spot with Faye versus Waka, that would have been a better final fight for the tournament. And maybe, change the outcome so it's not a tie.
Yeah, Faye versus Wakasuki was the best one.
I have it as top 2.
Liu versus
I have it as the
Nitoku is
best.
probably the best, but I'm just kind of confused to why Liu, who knows 7 martial arts, kept using the same attack over and over again.
If you're
Even
wondering
in-
that, go watch Mozzarella Custard's video of low gear versus high gear, as it gives a pretty good
It
breakdown.
I did
does.
watch
A
that
very
video.
good breakdown.
He
And
only
I think
used,
he does a
like,
good
5
job of explaining.
techniques. He has 500. And you gotta love Russian hook.
The Russian hook.
So, do you think we're still gonna get spoilers for Fear JK, even though this Tuesday? We should get some.
Well, because you see,
No.
what happened was... Okay, don't share spoilers for Jujutsu on here, because this is a Kengan stream.
Yeah, I'm not. Nothing.
Because Jump was on break, but the authors were not on break, so they had already done the chapters for Shonen Jump before the break. So the chapters are already finished and out there. So then they were able to do speed scans of them. Oh, Griever's dropped by to leave a like.
I see
Thanks,
it.
Griever.
I want my spoilers. But what's
By the
called?
way, guys, go sub to Griever. He's gonna start doing Kengan Ashura read through in like a week or two. So
What's the dude's name? Edward. What's it called? The last spare. You think he's gonna be built different?
the guy that we haven't seen yet, or Edward, the guy they're
Yeah.
fighting right now.
No, the guy we haven't seen. Edward's already.
Oh well, I mean,
We know
shit. If
nothing
they've
about the
if
guy
they've
yet.
said, listen, if he wasn't gonna be important, they would just say, oh yeah, there were 4 of us.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he'll either be the strongest or the weakest of them.
Yeah, and that's why he's not here, because he can't fight for shit.
Yeah, he's,
Oh,
actually
it's a
really
literal
skinny
child.
dude.
It's a literal
He's a-
child.
Oh my god,
Also-
that would be great. Please put
They should at least
That
leave
would
one of
actually
them
make the
alive.
most sense if it's like, yeah, this is the newest one that we've been
he's a
working
literal
on.
child, and then we watch him like kick someone's ass.
Well, it is,
Yes.
you know, it is a
Great.
Westward faction
They
member. He's
somehow
got those
decide
Kure
to
genes.
keep Rahito, and then we just watch this literal child beat the shit out of Rahito, and everyone be like, "Oh damn, they can't give Rahito a win. They can't."
If they're going to go into a war, they should at least leave one of themselves behind.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That would be good from a
Yeah,
tactical
just in case all the
standpoint.
spares are killed.
In case
then,
the building blows up or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and unless Hanafusa's there, he could be like, "Shit, this is going south. Time to use my island wiping poison."
Yeah. Okay, it's a little after 1. Once again, I'm gonna be fucking out of here at like 3:30. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go grab some food, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes. You guys just talk amongst yourselves.
Cool.
But should we? See,
Have
we
you all
could just
seen-
sit here in absolute silence and then just like make all the viewers like completely awkward, and then they'll leave. Like, god damn.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, we
Have you
could.
seen the beginning to Jack versus Sumo Man?
No, I don't read Baki.
Did that
Neither
come
do I.
out this week?
He ate his pinky.
That's
Hey.
pretty. Yeah, and as we know, they said in Baki, like, oh damn, I read the beginning of Baki. The guy, right? Sumo pinky, very important. So him eating the pinky, it's symbolic, because I don't know.
Oh, what the
He can't
fuck?
use the Marawashi.
I think it's funny that they like introduce like 2 Ryan level characters out of nowhere. No foreshadowing at all.
Where were they this entire time?
They're in the
In
bathroom.
the hall.
They were pissing.
Like a 7-hour Mondo shit. And now they're like, oh god, finally, what the hell?
Oh my god, that food went down bad.
They've
What's
been
happened?
in the
Where
ceiling
am I?
Time. They've just been in the rafters.
Did we win?
Like Rollon, if you've heard Neve.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah. Oh, you should enlighten everyone on the your theory about what Lolong / Rollon's true power would have been. Which, hey,
Yeah,
kind of
so,
ended
like-
up true in one way. Not really, but in a funny
Yeah,
way.
so this does give us an explanation so why Roland disappeared at the end of the fight. Because he's teleported out of there. He speed splits himself, right? Because you know what Ray does? He does that, but better. And up in the rafters, Lolong is still waiting for, the chance to strike a worm member, right? Because there's actually 2 of them, Lolong and Rolon. That's not a translation difficulty. That's the actual
Twins.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like what was supposed to happen during the fight was like whenever one of them was wounded heavily, they'd flash for a second and vanish, and then they'd come back fine because
They'd
they
swap
actually switched
places.
out. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
They
select-
did. They bandage themselves. They swap. Like, hold on. It's like, where did your wounds go? Not important. They swap back. Why are you completely bandaged in different areas now? Not important.
Maybe
yeah.
that's why we didn't see Lolong after he lost. It's gone to swap.
like he's in the rafters as we speak. He's waiting for worms to step into the arena so he can get the drop on them. This is a Salat's secret technique, doppelganger. It's also part of the Gao style. They're actually properly connected in lore. I talked to Gao Mukaka myself actually. He did say that Rollon and Long, yeah, they're the ones who helped him test the Gao style. Yeah, so like Ryuki can also use this technique. That's why he's so fast. Like, if Oma were to actually drop again and receive a more fatal wound, Ryuki would have just swapped out. He'd been there fighting.
Yeah,
Hold on,
exactly. He just needs
It
to
all
open
makes sense.
They just need to bulk up a bit more, Actually, not really. They don't need to bulk up like how many kilograms? They actually don't weigh too much of a difference, even though they're designed. The weight difference between them looks so drastic. How much does Oma weigh? Who am I?
I think it's like a 4 kg difference or something like that. Something
Yeah,
tight.
it's in Omega. Actually, he got lighter between Ashura and Omega.
Oh,
Oma?
He was
yeah,
he was
he
85
yeah.
kilograms on Ashura, and then after doing his constant training, I guess he also almost
His
died.
heart's left
He's
swollen.
he was 83 kilograms in Omega. So there's a 3 kilogram difference between him and Ryuki, and he's 2 centimeters taller.
Ah.
And yet the difference between them on a just looks so drastic. But I guess in the end, that's just because of the author's design choice. If they were to do the anime, I continue and do an Omega version, they'd probably look pretty similar.
Yeah, just
It's
probably
just
the
the
hair would
heart,
be different.
right? I don't know why you're acting like it's mysterious.
Hmm?
Say
It's
again?
just his heart. It weighs less now. His new heart.
Yeah.
I
of
thought it
course.
was the cardio from fighting Ryan every day.
I would think the heart would weigh more.
Yeah, you know, everyone knows that when you use the advance too much, your heart, it's not the heart rate that increases, it's the heart weight that increases.
And some
Whoa.
say the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day, and then he had cardiac arrest.
Some
Bro,
say he grew 3
we
times a
talk-
day. Oh,
Can-
continue.
Can we talk about how this man Bando's like top 5 in like
Well, I mean, he does have a one-shot technique.
facts? And like, if you're not fast enough, you're just dead. Like, what would Cosmo do against that, bro?
Well,
He's,
It's not, I mean, it's react fast enough. Cosmo probably would have, like, especially after round 2, he would have been able to deal with them. He
Yeah.
would
oh,
have,
for sure.
foresight, be like, oh, he's about to whip down on me.
You want
In
to
fact,
debate
it's
that?
impressive. You want to, I mean, no, I'm not a debater, but also, it's foresight. You're saying
But the way
Katsumi,
foresight works-
who doesn't have foresight, could
the way foresight
outmaneuver.
works is it's based on like what you've seen before, basically. So you have to see it before.
No, that's just I mean, I guess. No, that's why foresight. There's a lot of different variants of it. So
But like foresight isn't an instant win. You need to remember that. 'Cause, like
Yeah.
if you took Kaneda to Bando's birthday party.
also, what is Cosmo gonna do against Bando? That's just a terrible matchup.
Yeah, because he
Hey,
probably
too
couldn't
small
even
side
do a
battle.
hold.
He's like, I got you in a rear neck hold, and then he just starts twisting his neck around. He's just the worst matchup for grapplers.
Yeah, he's a hard counter.
Yeah. I
True,
got you now.
especially
No,
'cause-
you don't.
Especially because he doesn't really break bones that much as well, Cosmo, or he's not that well known for it compared to like Koreshi or something like that, or
Yeah.
Hatsumi. Like
And
Hatsumi had to break his arm just to throw
Yeah.
him.
And it's less that. It's Hatsumi tried to grab him, he got out of it. And Hatsumi, who's a very experienced fighter, realized, okay, so what I gotta do, rather than pinning him in his arm, I have to pin his literal bones.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
I wonder how
Bone
Hatsumi
pinned
and
him,
Ray
bro.
ran
He
into each
had
other.
too many joints.
No, well, he doesn't have too many joints. His joints just are a lot more flexible.
You can literally bend his arm backwards to his elbow and
Yeah.
it won't break.
So that's why he had to pin his bone down so that to get him to not move.
He
Imagine
had
if
his-
Bando was in the Purgatory tournament, bro. They would have got an instant disqualification if that dude was in there.
Imagine if Bando like fought Giroda.
Poor
He
Giroda,
could
dude.
just like grab his arm and wrap it around his body, and Bando would still just be standing there. Like, are you done?
No,
Giroda
he'd
would
beat
be-
no, Giroda would win that.
Giroda would be there, speed blitz, flipping him, and then just man Bando would smack him and just break his neck. He'd be like, you were the best at judo, though. You were fire.
Well,
Depends
Yes.
if Bando's wearing clothes as well.
Well,
I-
do you need clothes? Because
You
if
don't. He
so,
could just
then
use the
Gerota
skin.
could
He literally would just. He'd start doing a whip. Jirota would just grab his hand and just fling him to the ground at like lightning speeds.
Yeah, Jerome can just use the friction of your skin to flip you. Doesn't
Yeah.
need to
Sure.
like.
He just needs to touch you.
He just
But
needs to touch you, and then he could flip you to the ground with enough force to kill you if he wanted to.
But I thought Meguro was cooler because he used your own bones. He grabbed by your bones and then judo flip you and crap, which I thought was pretty cool.
Do you think
Yeah.
Gerota could beat Julius?
I
No.
It's a
mean,
bit too heavy.
No.
I think it's less of a case as Tengi's strong, but and it's not that I don't think he'd be able to throw him. He definitely would, but
Like
he would.
grabbing
It would
onto
just
his
be like,
veins
oh,
through his
I'm
skin?
throwing him enough. If he gets some good throws, obviously there's infinite realities. There's definitely, I'd say it's more of like a 50-50, maybe leaning more towards Julius. But like if Jirota gets some really good throws in, having Julius land on his head every time, then yeah.
It would be like Faye versus Wakatsuki, but instead Julius is just getting flipped instead of getting like Niko styled on. It would be like that.
So getting flipped.
Well,
Getting flipped.
Julius is one really big, buff, doesn't wear a shirt, so there's nothing to grab,
Like
and
friction.
he's a lot
Friction.
heavier.
He does friction. Yeah, but he's
He's not. I mean, overall, if you're doing comparison, Faye was able to judo throw Waka, and not
That wasn't
only
judo.
is what do you say, Jirota heavier than Faye, so physically stronger, but also he's far more masterful with judo, so he definitely could throw him harder.
Faye
And
wasn't
Julius
using judo,
doesn't
though.
weigh. I mean, most times he's drawn just much larger than he actually is. In fact, the biggest shock for me in all of Omega so far is in the chapter, was it 139? Right before they're going like, oh, the tragedy. Right after Oma won, and Julius grabs Oma's arms, like, you gotta stop. I'm like, oh my god, they made Julius at a normal size, like his actual size. That actually shocked me.
Yeah,
I-
usually
every time I see
Julius is like
Julius or
twice
Noah,
the
I'm
size
like,
he actually
they're
is.
like 8 foot tall.
But they drew him at his normal size. But yeah,
Guys are gonna get some
Jirota,
Misc
he'd be able to
mukbang
throw him
ASMR.
around. More than likely, Julius would win. But
yeah, here's the thing: Jordo flips you, but like it's not like he's fast. Like he's fast at flipping you, but like he's not like dodging all your hits. He was getting tagged by what's his face in the fight. That clone of Meguru, whatever. So
Ayame.
what's it called? Yeah, if he got hit by one of Julius's punches, bro, he'd be done for.
I don't think he'd be done by just one.
Yeah, I think Julius is a bit tanky.
The one that he hit Power with, that big old veiny muscle arm.
Well, I think anyone. They literally said no one could stand it, which makes
Don't mind the
sense.
sounds of me eating ramen. You know what, Neve? It would be quite amusing if Kureishi took Jiaji and compressed him into a ball and then started playing basketball with him.
This compressed person, the
Yeah, nice
greatest homebrew D&D spell.
Also, I remember, I think it was after The Long Lost, I remember seeing a great edit of just, it's a page where it's all just various Lolongs from different chapters talking to each other.
Yeah,
One
I
of
love
them's
that.
Rolon, all the other ones are Lolong, and due to Sandrovich's inconsistent art style, you could conceivably see them all being separate characters. They
Well,
all look
Sandrovich
just
is not
different
the
enough.
Sandrovich
Or not
is not
Sandrovich,
the artist.
Deromian's
Yeah,
inconsistent art.
yeah.
You're like, oh wow, they all look different enough.
I'm telling you, man. He's been crying too much. Trash, bro. And when someone cries that much, they have to have something up their sleeve, right?
Not because he was set up earlier, and then he got kicked by Koga, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, but he ate that, bro. He ate it. He was like, "Come on, kick me again, loser."
Not, he ate it, and then Ryan showed up.
Yeah, but
And
okay,
then
you
there's
said
been
the same-
every other time where Eddie has been treating Gia G like his battered girlfriend, fucking holding him with chokeholds or dragging him by the hair and shit.
Here's the thing you're forgetting. You just named like two top verses. You named Ryan.
And they did it casually. They casually did it to him. You understand that Joji and Koreishi are also top tier characters, right?
Who?
The
Oh my
guys.
The
that
guys
just
that you're
ran
saying
into.
Jia G is gonna beat up. You
What guys?
understand that those are guys from the author's previous series, and they're both top tier characters.
They're
Listen.
both on Kuroki's level.
Listen to me, alright? I'm
Uh-huh.
telling you, this man is gonna pull out Kung Fu Praying Mantis style.
Of course. Oh yes.
Yeah, of course.
Is
Yeah.
that why he wears detached
He's
sleeves
gonna
and
pull out the
sunglasses?
4,000 years of Chinese martial arts.
And he's gonna be doing it with like snot running out of his nose and crying like a little baby. This will be even cooler.
You see, the nice thing about Joji and Koreishi is, Koreishi is an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
is
does
one of
MMA.
the top 10 MMA fighters in Japan.
He does MMA, Joji does karate, they both do actual, real, effective martial arts.
Praying Mantis style's real.
Is it good?
Kinda good. I
It's
guess.
in Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I'm back, I have my food here. We're gonna get a little bit of, Misk eating ASMR during this, but now on to
Oh my.
the next half of questions. Which fight did you find exceeded your expectations? Which one surprised you in a good way? We'll start off with Niko.
The one that surprised me the most, I gotta say, Naiden versus Ryuki, because I had no clue that that guy was gonna be a worm operative. No clue at all. Like, I just thought his fight would just be like, okay, it would go through the motions, everything would happen, and then he'd either win or he'd lose. But yeah, it's probably one of my, I'd say it's one of my favorite fights as well, just because of the surprise factor and how it went down, and what will come of that fight as well.
Nice. Respectable.
Play for you.
I would say, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'd go Naidon versus Riki as well, but then I remembered that reading Liu Dongchen versus Nitoku week to week was, I mean, like the fight, it started a bit, so I'm like, alright, it seems alright when it started slow, but then once it picked up, I was like, oh damn, and then it just, week after week, I'm like, oh my god, it's still going! And it really surprised me, and I mean, I was expecting it overall to probably be like middle of the pack in terms of fights, not the top two for me.
Everyone underestimated my boy Liu Dongcheng.
Oh no, it's not that I didn't underestimate either of them. It just, I did not expect the fight to be as good as it was. It blew me away with how they were able to, because most of the fights, they kind of ended before a character showed any struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at like, perfect example, Lutien versus Kano. I'd say overall decent fight, but it just, it ended very suddenly, so you don't see, and you never got to see Kano struggle.
Mhm.
Like, they made it clear, like, hey, they spent 5 solid minutes using this formless back and forth, but we didn't see that, so we didn't get to see the struggling, or as much struggle between the two as with Liu Dongcheng versus Nitoku. Blew me away.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Ace,
Yes.
which fight surprised you the most in a good way?
The most surprising? Well, on one hand, I went into this expecting Nitoku and Masasa to be my favorites, and they kind of cemented it. I didn't expect Yumi to get clowned on that hard.
No,
but
no,
that
the
just made it
fights.
more
Okay, the
enjoyable and
fights.
cathartic.
Which fights
Fight in a good way.
And
Probably
which
the
one-
most surprising,
exceeded your expectations?
probably Faye versus Waka.
Hmm.
It does bug me they never mentioned Waka's disabilities that were like huge points for previously with his eye and his ankle. But I never expected Waka to be on the opposite foot of where he was when he fought Oma and still barely come out on top.
Yeah, if
And
you
it
can
was
call
an
it that.
epic fight.
And it was
From
great.
one of the highest power levels we've seen in the series.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. Whether that ends up being a good or bad thing in the future, we'll see. Neve, you still in here?
Yeah, I am.
Which fight surprised you the most in a good way?
I can't really remember what I thought of each fight at first. But honestly, mostly every fight, except Julius's fight, was pleasantly surprising for me. Because after reading Ashton here, I heard so much shit about Purgatory, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be
Oh,
boring as
whoops! I wonder how that could have happened.
fuck. Like, hey, look, you made me enjoy it more. I'm thankful. Yeah, like overall, like most, uh, probably, let's see, most likely Jirota's fight, I think.
Hmm.
Cause remember seeing Hayami and being like, oh, I didn't really care for Magro that much. This fight's not gonna be too good. Then he keeps getting back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh damn, a goat.
Debt.
It was a Julius fight. That guy was talking so much trash. He got with dog walk. I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Hmm. Alright, for me, I think when it came to like a stretch of chapters surprising me in terms of the quality, it would have probably been... Oh, hold on, I'm gonna increase the VC capacity by 1 so the jobber can join in. I don't know if he's gonna talk, but he wants to join in.
It started at 5, and now we'll be at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
cause
joined him before. He wasn't speaking though, so.
yeah.
Well, if he just wants to catch what we say 30 seconds ahead of time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, he can.
In terms of like chapter by chapter, like surprising me a lot, it was that stretch of chapters in Waka versus Faye, from like I think like as soon as they started fighting up through like the Divine Demon reveal, I was like fucking blown away by how good the chapters were, because that was just coming off of Okubo versus Tarashi, and I was like, ugh.
So I guess that means most surprising fight that exceeded in a good way. Winner is Wakafe. You had 2 people say that. Everyone else was
Well,
saying different.
in terms of just chapters, the fight that surprised me the most and that I never would have expected it to be as good as it ended up being was Rahito versus Falcon.
Facts.
That didn't seem like it would be, because like Rahito's fine, but he never really has like great fights. He has like decent fights, but nothing really amazing. And yet that fight was really fucking good.
Yeah, it took me a wee bit to actually appreciate that fight. I think I remember reading it on first time and being like, that was okay. Didn't really care for Falcon that much. Then I reread it and, well, that was a lot better than I remembered it being.
Alright, for me, it was really good first read through, and then the second read through, I was like, I don't know why it got worse for me.
That's weird.
I mean, I still like it, good fight, but like, I'm not someone now that looks at the fight and go, "Oh, this is an S tier amongst the Omega fights." Just not for me. It's like, it's all right. Yeah, solid B to A tier.
I see. Well, alright then. Oh, Jobber, do you have one?
I do. I'd say when you Misk, when you meant a fight that surprised me in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. We'll get into the bad way after this.
Good way?
Yeah.
Faye vs Wakatsuki then.
And why was that?
Because I didn't expect it to be that one-sided. I need. But wait.
Is that a
I
good
never
thing?
expect to be that one-sided. I expect to be more equal. Because Faye, once he had them, he had the leader and fight pretty much all the way to until the final exchange when he knocked out Wakatsuki and Faye blew up basically.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Alright then. Now, for the thing that this tournament does best. Disappointment.
Okay, Downer. Okay, Downer.
Yeah, oh,
Okay, little baby man.
a few times in this stream and in various other videos. I feel like the most notable thing of this tournament is there were a lot of things that is set up to be great and things that were hyped up as being great and then just kind of weren't. A lot of wasted potential, a lot of missed opportunities. Which fight did you find to be the most disappointing from what you had hoped or expected or had been built up to be? And of course, once again, we'll start with Niko.
Okay, based on build-up, it's got to be either Lelong versus Omar
Mm-hmm.
or Alan versus Ryan. Just because of the obvious reasons. Like, I expected a lot more, even though they weren't necessarily my least favorite fights. I just feel like I was expecting them to be a lot better. It's just my expectations of the fight compared to how the fight actually went down.
I see. Play free.
See, now my immediate thought is, rather than just going down the list, who doesn't have Lolong Oma or what do you say,
Alan versus Ryan?
versus Alan as their most disappointing?
I mean,
Well, we're talking about first time thing,
one of the
so
two.
some
I have
different.
one of the two. to be honest.
Yeah, you have one of the two. So, you know, before, because we're just gonna get into a loop of going, yeah, this was. I mean, overall, I think all the fights were fine. Most disappointing for me, I guess, yeah, it's just Lolong Oma, because I don't know. Even though I think it's still a pretty decent fight, it's just both fights are the only fights that build themselves up through statements.
Yeah.
And the difference between them is that while Lolong Oma, that is more of a fight, but it also is a lot more of that statement building. Ryan versus Alan has a lot less fight in it and a lot less of that statement. So even though I rank one higher than the other, I can also say the one I rank higher is the one that I am more disappointed by. See, just don't build things up through statements.
Good idea,
actions.
folks. Wait, so
Yeah,
we
good
all
idea.
agree then it's one of those two.
Yeah,
I mean, like-
mine's Alan Wu.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yagito versus Lu Tian, why was that, Jobber?
Do you remember the chapter where they showed Lucian's entrance and he was like just there, frozen? Well, honestly, I feel like his entrance made the readers have a pretty high expectation of him, me included. And Agito, he had a record of pretty much all his fights are great. His weakest in fighting in Ashura, in my opinion, is his fight against Sen because of how much of a curb stomp it was. So yeah, and then Lucian did the funny
The thing that no one ever. Oh, fuck.
No, Miss, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong.
Oh God.
I have another opinion.
I'm gonna get thrown in a fucking psych ward.
You do another opinion.
Yes. Aside from Alan versus Ryan, of course. My
Okay.
most disappointing fight was not Oma versus Lolong, because I'm not that butthurt about it as most people.
No, I'm not butthurt.
Super, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a lot of Oma development in that fight. That's why I liked it.
But the one that probably disappointed me the most off the top of my head is going to upset Play Free.
Uh-oh.
And I'd say it was Nidon versus Ryuki.
And why was that, Ace?
Because that entire fight was literally just Nidon mind-breaking Ryuki while proving that there was nothing Ryuki could have done to defeat him the whole time. It wasn't even really a
Well,
fight.
let's
It was
keep
something that
looking.
could have happened off stage and be like, hey, you know you're a terrible person, right? And there's no way you can defeat me unless I let you kill me. So how about I let you kill me and make you a terrible person? You know, the guy who almost could have defeated Okoye gets clowned on so hard by a dude who we had no idea about. And his greatest feat is he flipped a bull, killed his master, and beat.
Uh,
Not
he
opposed.
he
Four
did
It was
horses.
multiple
4 horses.
Mongolian horses. I don't know if Mongolian horses are better. I assume they are because they're Mongolian.
But yeah, I just felt like that site
It's
was
less
a
of
bit
him flipping
too
them,
much
it's
of a
more of him
one-sided
holding
mind
while they're
game.
charging.
Dude,
Uh,
Nidon has more than 4 horsepower. Remember
If
that.
he wanted to have killed Ryuki, he would have just snapped his neck instead of choking him. He wanted to die. He went into the fight wanting to be killed.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Yeah.
what I'm thinking there.
I mean,
So
you know,
I think that so he could basically do a suicide mission, so he could mind break Ryuki,
another,
and
another fight
Maybe.
other than Island who I didn't like was Misasa versus Yumi Gahama. He was like so much crap, bruh. And then he got dog walked on.
that fight had a nice curve. Yeah, that's all. That's the only compliment I'll give that fight. Yeah.
I really liked that fight.
The compliment I'll give that fight is the ending sequence is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the scene where Misasa and Yui made up and kissed.
Yeah, they started.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
me
what? Wait, what?
Yeah, that was great. Wait, what? Are we reading the
Wouldn't
same
that
Kengan
involve? Would that involve Misasa like leaning forward into the indentation in Yumi's skull?
Omega? No,
Oh,
like
God,
you
it
know
would
that
look
scene
like
right at the
he
end where
was
he punched
going
him? No, he
to-
instead just kissed him and then he fell, and then that caused the indentation. He couldn't handle it.
Oh
Couldn't handle
wow.
the power.
I honestly think if people use elbows in a fight, then they're just like monsters, and you should not fight them if they try to elbow you.
Yeah, generally I would not recommend fighting someone that will hit you with their elbow. It's just pure solid bone. That's fucking terrible.
I still don't understand how people are so good at kicking with their shin and hitting with their elbow when the funny bone and the shin have the most sensitive nerves in the body.
I don't know, probably training.
As far as what you can actually hit with.
Probably
just
training.
Hit it or hit it until it gets you dead the nerve.
Niko, you practice Muay Thai, right? That uses elbows, yes?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, Muay Thai.
So you have some experience with that.
Yeah, where I am, they literally just get us to, if we want to condition our legs, it's either heavy bags, what else? Practice pads, and you're literally kicking all the time, or you're like hitting with your elbow a lot, and you just condition it to the point where I'm not at that level yet at all, but you condition it to the point where you just don't feel it at all.
Oh.
It's literally just like a dead. Your shin's dead. Just you can kick anything.
So how do you become a good martial artist without killing your own nerves?
You don't.
Well, I mean, your nerves, you can't feel pain.
Was your
can't
body
feel.
just not built to beat the shit out of people?
I
No,
mean,
true.
remember, what do fucking karate masters do? They literally break their fucking hands to do partial training. They're fractures. It's not like they're mangling their hands or anything. Not, you know,
That guy who,
actively trying to mangle their
Like,
hands.
you know, could break a coconut with his thumb. His thumb is mangled to fuck.
Yeah, like you
Oh
you
my
keep
God.
fracturing the bones in your hands so that every time they heal, the bone becomes sturdier.
Oh yeah, that thing from Torigo with the stumpy punch.
Ah,
That's
the
in
stump
Baki.
punch. Yeah, it's in Baki. It's great. Listen, the stump
And
punch
he
is always
mentions,
great.
like, I broke my fingers so many times slamming them into bamboo that sometimes I wish I had no fingers at all.
It's
Thanks
just
for making my wish come true. I can punch you with all my strength and not break anything.
just hit him with solid bone, motherfucker.
Have you seen the most recent
Alright, go ahead.
Baki chapter? It's so funny.
A guy gets slapped in the face by a sumo wrestler, and during that slap, he bites off his pinky and eats it. And the
Happens to
entire
Uncle.
chapter is him eating his pinky.
Wait,
while
are
having
you
a
fucking
conversation.
kidding me? The whole chapter is just eating his pinky?
While they have a three-person conversation.
Oh my god, that is the most Baki pacing shit I've ever heard.
And the whole thing ends up with them actually going to the arena to have a real fight instead of just in the old man's backyard.
Oh, you
And he
bit
just
my
has to
finger
blend.
off? Let's go take a walk to the arena. You know,
And
casually.
not
So
once does the sumo wrestler stop smiling, or overreact, or go like, ah! He's just like, huh, what about that shit?
that's
Well,
you see, that's the good
chewing
thing
his
about
fingers.
Baki characters.
Do you know your pinky constitutes almost half of your grip strength?
Really?
I mean, that's why it's, yeah.
Actually, it
If you
makes
had-
sense when you think about it. The two fingers that kind of move closest together are your pinky and your thumb.
If you had to lose a finger, make it your ring finger.
Yeah.
That's true.
And, isn't it that the, your pinky toe is pretty responsible for your sense of balance?
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to lose that, I mean, you'd still be able to stand on your 2 feet. You'll have more trouble.
Oh, I always heard
People
that, like,
are slowly
pinky...
growing to lose their pinky toes.
Yeah, pinky toes, it's like your fucking, what's the organ I'm forgetting the name of? It's like your,
Appendix,
yeah, your
gallbladder,
appendix,
tonsil.
or... Yeah, like those things, where the human body doesn't really have much of a need for it anymore. The human body is developing to not require them.
Evolution in real time.
Real-time
That's
evolution.
why in My Hero Academia, which is set like 100 years in the future, they know kids have a quirk because they don't have a joint in their pinky toe at all.
Which sounds kind of dumb, but, you know, it works.
They're growing to not have pinky toes. Our feet are just becoming shoes.
That is a horrifying thought.
Well, now I gotta think of a question for your Q&A video.
Yeah, good idea.
yeah.
Alright,
Yeah,
guys,
I
remember,
think
I
it's
have a
good
Q&A thing that I'm going to do tomorrow, so go watch that Q&A video announcement I just posted and post some questions, or go post them in the community post I did yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
just
hard to
try and
decide
make Miss as scared as possible.
Like that, I can just ask you a question whenever I want.
Well, I need
Yeah.
content for the video.
Yeah. It's like I could literally just start spitballing things at you right now. You'd be saying it in the stream, and I'm like, alright.
Neve actually gave the hardest one, which is like, what's your favorite quote or moment from Bernice? And I'm like, oh fuck, I can't remember one.
Shameful.
I can't remember a specific instance of Bernice doing something. I just have a general concept of Bernice being this chaos entity.
I just remember Bernice is fucking... Is Bernice a guy?
Yeah, Bernice
Or-
is. I think Bernice is Italian. He's an Italian dude.
Bernice is
Yeah.
Genda Ricari with what seems like a female name and an Italian accent, who just hangs out in the ether and then comes and shit on stuff.
Bernice comes out of nowhere, and just says the most random, out-of-pocket shit. It's great.
And it's great.
And then he vanishes again back to the void.
Yeah. Oh, Sun Eater mentioned once again the Jamaican judo guy. I like how. So we have people who caused a ruckus on the server, the true bozos, but then we have a nice range of people who've commented on my videos that are just as, if not more, deranged than the people who've caused a fuss on the Discord.
But they don't cause a fuss, they're just, you know...
They're just insane, like
Ah.
the Jamaican judo guy. Oh
great.
yeah, I still
that?
can't believe, huh?
10,000 Jamaicans that can rule the world.
Oh yeah, Niko, you were about to say something?
No, I was just asking for context.
Oh, I don't know. I had mentioned him earlier, but during the Gerardo fight, there was this dude in my comments. I think that his name is like Robert Reed or something. Talking about how like his dad taught him ancient judo or something, and ancient judo allows like striking or whatever, even though judo is only like 150 years old.
Ah, this is different. This is ancient judo.
And
not
then he
current
said
judo.
he said he
Therefore
would
it's
go
different.
around fighting people in the streets. He would go around doing fucking street fighting or some shit, like actual anime character stuff. And then there was a video.
You don't want to do judo on concrete.
No, you will kill
Yes, you do.
someone if you do that.
That's why I do it.
And then in I think it was a Kengan review. I think it was a review, not the Lalong video, where I joked about, oh yeah, Lalong's so strong because he's Filipino, and as we know, Filipinos are the strongest race on Earth. And then he commented, I think you mean Jamaicans are the strongest race on Earth. And this dude replied to his comment laughing, and then he replied to that guy with like 2 fucking essays. This was like the fucking Navy SEAL copy pasta. I have to go back and find this, actually.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's in quotes, I think.
It's one of the funniest comments I've ever gotten. In the meantime, while I find it, I got another comment, I think today, from someone on my Ragnarok review. Yeah, Dora Explora, perhaps the most pretentious person I've ever gotten comments from. A few months ago, he commented, or what he did today was he commented on my video, because I made the suggestion that, oh yeah, it seems like all the demons kind of look like Hajin. I assume Incubus maybe didn't just because the idea of Hajin didn't exist yet. And the dude commented saying that I was being like fucking disrespectful and it was a degrading remark to suggest that they're like, that the author of Ragnarok is like Akira Toriyama or the writers at DC Comics.
Oh.
I don't know why he took such specific offense to that.
How dare you say that he's like the writers at one of the most successful comic producing businesses out there, who've made some of the best stories that outclass the majority of manga?
And didn't have stuff planned ahead because it's a fucking franchise that's existed for like 100 years. That's written by like several hundred different people. I know, what a crazy concept. Okay, I don't remember the exact video, so I'm gonna have to fucking find him. Previous comments.
You can tell from the sheer fact that there is 3 different versions of the first chapter of Record of Ragnarok. That
Oh yeah,
they
definitely.
immediately shifted gears and changed plans after like the first couple chapters.
Yeah. So then in a different video, the dude in my chapter 53 review, he went on and he said that first off, my videos were more fun and informative when I reviewed the entire fights, which were frankly my shittiest videos. Now, apparently, now, to quote, nowadays half your Record of Ragnarok video's length is just speculation, which is not only oftentimes incorrect, but also ultimately pointless because you will know the answer in a month or 2 anyway.
Okay.
So speculation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at some point he says, and this was the most absurd thing ever, I don't know what gave you the idea that pointless speculation is fun or even morally good. A morally good thing to do in a public place, except for, you know, stuff like scientific hypotheses or hard science fiction. But that's obviously not what you do. I assure you that anyone with half a brain cell will prefer listening to informed opinions about things that already happened over listening to incessant speculation about things that they're going to find out about in a short time anyway.
The fuck?
Let me look something up real quick. Hold on.
This is one of the most insane comments. Anytime, like this is the second time I get the comment. Dude is so fucking full of himself, so fucking pretentious.
It's the morally.
So saying, speculating and making theories is stupid and pointless. The Game Theorist, 15 million subscribers.
Well,
The
apparently
Film
he's
Theorist,
very
10
immoral by
million
doing that.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Very immoral.
Oh.
I
How
mean,
dare you
he's
speculate?
a FNAF fan, so you know.
Mihawk
Immoral,
Theory,
just
posted
like
by
me.
Grand Line Review 7 hours ago, almost 100,000 views.
Yeah, you know it.
All of those
You know.
criminals.
They're such
There we go.
terrible people.
Execute justice.
Ugh.
4
Yeah, I
days ago, a Grand Line Review theory video, 300,000 views.
Ugh. You know, Dora Explorer really hates those dudes. Like, every time he goes through, like, YouTube recommendations and sees that shit, he starts hyperventilating. His blood pressure
Well,
raises very high.
The weird thing is, he's still watching your videos and following your content.
Yeah, after like a fucking 3 or 4 months. Strange as shit.
Yeah.
Strange as hell.
People like to be angry.
That they do. Quite bizarre.
You need to
is it not?
chill out.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I realized this is how I found the comment on the Ragnarok video. What I need to do is I need to go back to the videos I did during the Jirota fight, and then I can find his comments on those, which were still deranged and hilarious, but not like as deranged.
Yes.
Where are you, Robert Reed? I know you're in here somewhere, you little fuck.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say, by the way.
Here he is.
It happens.
I have ADHD real bad.
Jamaicans are the most powerful race in the world. Yeah, the chapter 130 reaction. Jamaicans are the most powerful race in the world. This dude responds by laughing. Get ready for this. Why are you laughing? Have any of you guys in the Olympics yet to break any Jamaican records on the board? Human form is designed for running, throwing, and catching specifically. We do these things naturally without training. So, first off, interesting claim. Interesting setup for his comment here.
Yeah.
Now it's about to go totally off the rails in one way. And if you understood the slave trade and how natural selection weeded out the weak slaves, and also if you understood that Jamaica was the last stop in the slave trade, and if you understood the conditions of the slave ships, those who were able to make it to the last stop were the fittest of the fittest. Evolutionary and as a matter of fact statements, Jamaicans are the #1 sprinters on the planet. And since the human form is designed for running, and I guess Jamaicans are genetically superior, since we are naturally fast runners compared to everyone. That is the first of 2 replies.
Oh.
That is not the most insane of them.
Oh.
I mean, he's just spitting. Like,
This next one is twice as long as that reply, at least. And furthermore, don't get my intellect mixed up and think I'm some weak nerd. Quite specifically, my family practices selective breeding. We don't breed with people who get sick often. I can count on one hand how often I've gotten a cold.
Quite the immune
So
system.
now this is like, yeah, they're the Jamaican Curry clan.
Yeah, the Curry clan.
My family has broken it down to such a specific way we can select whether or not we want a boy or a girl before we decide to conceive the baby.
Nah, this guy must be trolling.
they control the sperm. Boy, I want a boy.
Now, this
I
is
want a boy.
this is the most insane. So either this dude is
There's
trolling,
actually
or I
tales
think-
about how you can alter that.
I think this guy may be living in some kind of actual delusion, or he is perhaps the best troll I've gotten in any comments for a reason we'll get into in a
Boy.
bit.
There's always the small possibility.
Yeah, I didn't realize these guys were living in fucking Gattaca. You can't beat generations of study for one thing, and my family focuses only on creating the strongest genetics on the planet. And the only reason why I'm interested in Kengan Omega is because a lot of the practices of what we do is similar to this manga. So please do not compare me to you. I can run 5 miles in 45 minutes easy.
That's-
Okay, so he runs a mile, and I'm pretty sure there are people that can run a mile way faster than that. That's only a little faster than I can run a mile.
Yeah.
I
I did. Congrats. We came to you.
so he already fucked up the do you even know who I am thing. I am a fighting prodigy who is supposed to go to the Olympics for judo and boxing.
Oh, now I have to watch every year. God fucking
No.
damn it. God damn you. Now I have to see if this man, what's his name,
So
Robert Lee?
Robert Reed, he's consistent. He kept the judo thing.
You know what's the best way to respond to this guy?
What?
Despite the historical inaccuracies, I am 100% positive Cool Runnings is your favorite movie of all time, and you must watch it at least twice a day.
Oh, beautiful. We'll continue.
Just a side note. My mother is 6 feet tall. My grandfather, at 70-something, still, climbs trees like a fucking monkey. Yeah, bro, we are the strongest people on Earth. It's common for people in my family to live to be 110. The only ones who die before that are the ones who like to smoke and drink.
He should have said the weak. He should have said the weak.
Just the weak. They were the weakest of us.
The weak.
My great-grandmothers are both still alive. So are my grandmothers and my grandfathers. Until a Filipino can outrun a Jamaican, then they can call themselves powerful. Something, that one's incoherent. The only problem our family genetics have is that we tend to get brain tumors for overusing our brains. That's actually a thing, because when you use your brain, you create a certain kind of fluid inside of it that when you have to sleep to get rid of it, most times, in very rare cases in my family, some people's brains do not shut off in their sleep. They're constantly thinking. That usually happens when the hardware can't keep up with the software. Usually those people are the brightest bunch in our family, but they never live long and have a life riddled with seizures. So we're currently trying to work that out of our genetics.
This has to be true.
And listen, that won't be a problem in the next 3 generations, you know.
Yeah, nah, no.
Don't worry,
don't
a
worry.
few generations from now, we'll be geniuses without any brain tumors.
Our heads will just be larger. It's because we've learned to compensate.
Through more effective and specific selective breeding using my sperm, suitable eggs with suitable surrogates for the future. So this dude is gonna be producing the next generation.
He's gonna be lining up the women and going like, no.
I wouldn't be
No.
surprised if my family planned on cloning my DNA. Lucky for you, you probably had a regular childhood. Mine was isolation and training of the mind and body. It was so bad I was not allowed to watch any cartoons in my native tongue to force me to constantly read subtitles. That's what he ends off on.
Oh. Shame.
So, so they live to be
I don't know about
110, but also a lot of them are plagued with brain tumors and seizures that lead to them not living very long. So a little bit inconsistent there.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe him. The thing he's saying.
Right, you don't
You know,
believe him.
I don't believe him.
You're a little skeptical.
If I ever saw this guy in like a ring, bro, I'd be terrified to fight. I'm like, what is he that bites my ear off? He's obviously insane. Like, I don't he just like digs his fingers in my eyes when I'm fighting and stuff. He like chokes me out, breaks my neck.
Yeah, this is bar none the most insane thing anyone's ever commented on a video of mine. Like, it's straight up deranged. Now, I think that is so detailed. Either this dude is just amazing at making up a narrative, because his YouTube channel just has like random shit on it. I think it had like music or something. Either this dude is an amazing troll, or he is
to make him stronger.
yeah, or he is straight up living in some kind of very complex delusion,
Or both.
or both.
He's in a
I don't know if the delusional guy has the competency to troll me with shit. Like, the guy is living in a different reality. But yeah,
that's a mad elitist like story. Like it's almost like he's saying that Sanjovic based Kengan on his life.
yeah.
Yeah, this guy is Ryuki. Not Ryuki, Koga. Fuck.
Yeah, he's Ryan. He's literally Ryan. That's amazing. I've seen that guy. I think I saw that guy comment on a couple of your videos, Niko, in the past. I think during the Jirota fight, but it was always normal shit. He only commented stuff that was like related to judo in the chapter.
Yeah, I was thinking the name sounds familiar, but I couldn't place the type of comment with the like my image of like who it could be. So I was like, who is this guy?
I think
But
he
yeah, I don't
said,
know.
I think he
He's
mentioned
looking-
something about doing judo in one of your comments, but I don't think he ever went as so far as to say, yeah, my father taught me in the ways of ancient judo, in which dirty judo is allowed, where you can use striking and such. And I go out and I fight people on the streets to train. Literal anime character. This guy, I mean, this kind of shit goes far beyond someone like fucking, I don't know, Shugen just being an asshole.
I can't even lie. I'm a bit jealous.
I know.
My comments seem boring now.
I've somehow, I don't know,
I'll take
I've gotten
nothing,
lucky. Maybe it's my demeanor or something, but I've seemed to have attracted a few of the most absurd people on the internet.
It happens.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
man.
Yeah.
I remember what I was gonna say earlier.
Damn.
Ah.
Did you? I don't know if I brought this up before, but do you know about that like almost no rules tournament where they brought like the best representative of every martial art on earth they could find, and had them fight in a bracket to determine what was truly the greatest martial art on earth?
No, I don't think I have heard of that. Somehow.
Like professionals refused to take part because there wasn't enough rules, and someone was gonna die, so they had to add a few more rules.
Hmm.
Because they wanted it to be welcoming to every kind of martial art without anyone being killed.
Oh, you know, if that thing ran, there were quite a few people that lost a lot of social credit for that.
No.
It's probably gonna shock you who won that ultimate martial arts tournament.
Was it a Chinese martial artist?
No, it was the second generation, the son of the guy who created Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, nope, never mind. That sounds like a guy that would totally win that.
He just choked out everybody. He just choked everyone out.
No,
Yeah,
that totally
he
sounds like
only
a dude
threw,
that would
like,
win.
A couple punches. He just made every single person he fought tap out in the tournament.
As far as I
Wow.
understand, based on what I have heard, BJJ sounds like straight up the best martial art to learn for like a normal person.
That's literally what I'm about to start learning. Literally, I'm already about to.
Yeah, it wasn't even like an ancient martial art. His dad created it.
Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu seems to be one of the most efficient martial arts in the world. If you're gonna learn a martial art to like actually use to like protect yourself or something, learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And you don't have to injure other people so they can't sue you.
No, that's a great idea for if you're learning
Break
something
their
to protect yourself. The idea is that you're probably not trying to hurt people. You're just trying to put them out of commission.
You can pull their arms out their socket. You can choke them out.
Yeah, but that's not the goal. It's just to knock them out.
Nah, I'm choking
Carrot
them
Drop
out.
says we need more of Jamaican curry. I don't know. Next time you see him in the comments or something, be sure to reply to him by making fun of him or something, and then he'll just totally fly off the handle.
He's gonna get
Nah.
so many replies and be so confused.
Well, I don't know how many of these people... Remember Robert Reed. I'm pretty sure his profile picture is a dude getting a back massage or something.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, we came up with the joke like 2 years ago. Me, Fi, and Clover. We joked. Something about like the Clover Protection Squad. Fi just has a sword, and we're like, ah yes, Misc, known for being a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So that's why I'd be like, yo, Cosmos solos, because he knows how to get out of grappling holds, bruh. Like, what are you gonna do when he puts no one?
Whenever I see someone in a grappling hold, I think to myself,
so many
why
people-
so
there's
hard
so
to
many
get out of
people
that?
in like King and Oscar, they can probably get out of like a actual grapple move. Like I don't see Gao Long being able to get out of something like that.
Oh, you better be careful now. You better be careful with some statements like that. You're gonna attract the wrong crowd.
I'm saying though, if you're being realistic, I haven't seen him do any type of. All I've seen him do is Muay Thai and boxing. And those aren't
That
grappling
you
holds.
don't know a thing about the Gao Lang fans. You
Yeah,
oh
that-
no.
It's gonna be after
Gao
you.
Lang, just by being Gao Lang, is already a master at counter grappling, and because he's mastered counter grappling, he knows how to grapple.
Yeah,
Of
of course.
Yeah, so he doesn't do it because clearly he's never met anyone strong. He was holding back against Agito. That's why he lost. It's
Oh,
clear.
Yeah, facts, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so aren't the way the arguments usually go is either Gao Lang curb stomps Hatsumi or Hatsumi curb stomps Gao Lang? Isn't that usually?
I don't know. All I know what happens
in
is
between.
they you talk and then they Agito versus Gowlang trap you. You start a debate, and then you get trapped arguing about, what do you say, Agito versus
Nah.
Gowlang? I'm like, no. we're getting
He
part-
managed scouting us along. That's it.
What happened
Use
here?
the
Here's how the Gowlang versus
Use the
Hatsumi fans
power of
go.
madness
You
to make
mention.
scouting us along and then he beats.
Here's how it goes. You mention both characters within like an hour of each other. The Gao Lang fans show up, and then you blow your brains out because you can't bear it anymore.
I can't do it with Gowlang fans.
I like Gao Lang, but it seems like his stands are the worst.
If you were to go by popularity polls, the majority of fans are Gowlang.
I know. I've only
Yeah.
seen the results of that one popularity poll, but Gao Lang is the most popular by like all of the other votes combined.
Hmm.
Well, that's what happens when you get Asia. That's why soccer's the most popular sport on Earth.
Neve
Yeah.
said in text-to-speech, next time we see Mr. Judo, I think I'm gonna make up some shit about ancient Scottish martial arts involving cabers?
Yeah, cabers. It's where you threw a tree.
What is a caber?
It's where you threw a log.
Oh my
and
god!
crashed in the wall.
I'll spew so much shit that
You're
the
a
comment
master
section
log
ends up
thrower.
being a sewer. We're creating a battle manga right now. Through our conversations, we're creating a
Ancient
concept for a new
judo
battle manga.
Versus the ancient Scottish martial art of throwing trees.
Yeah, Scottish
Like
tree
judo?
throwing versus ancient judo.
It's an actual thing, though.
Yeah, I'm not doubting it.
Yeah, caber toss, a classic game.
Let me look it up. I mean,
Gao Lang is just like a boxer, bro. He's not even that good. You just say that he's the best at hitting you, man. Like, come on. This is
Dead.
nothing.
Okay,
oh
that,
my
that's
god,
stupid.
this is like this athletic
Oh my
kid.
god.
Like, look Gao Lang throws the punches.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. On another,
And then Gosmo turns his punch into like the zone, and then grapples him and chokes him out.
I mean, that may work, but Dad, you need to understand. Okay. Fuck the Gao Lang stands, but you don't sell Gao Lang short. He's still the most powerful boxer that we've seen in the series. Because he's not
Yeah.
just a boxer, he also does Muay Thai. So he basically combined the two best striking martial arts in the world. And is really good at using them.
I'm really invested in caber toss now.
Again,
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is fucking absurd.
Listen, miss, what's
Hey.
he gonna do if he gets put in a chokehold, man?
Oh, then it seems like Gowling has a bit of a weakness to grapplers. Yeah, that doesn't reduce how strong he is, like, relative to other characters. He's still, like, a very solid A-tier character.
Yeah, listen. I'll even give it to him that he can like maybe get out in like 5 minutes, but it only takes like 2 minutes to choke you out, so it doesn't really matter.
Miss, you just said some words of sin to some.
Oh,
No.
no.
A tier.
Oh,
you're
no!
about to-
I
you're gonna get it.
mean, low
You're gonna
S!
get
Low S!
It's too late. They're coming. They're coming.
No!
For you. Your home has been found. Now you must, to defend yourself, you gotta take up caber tossing.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
I need to take up caber tossing to defend myself against the Gao Lang stands.
Yeah, you just throw them in the air, and they fucking die.
What do you
Just throw
see?
'em to the bin.
The thing is with the caber tossing is you start off the fight with a log, and then eventually you lose the log, and then Robert Reed is like, what will you do now without your Scottish log? But it turns out the true secret of caber tossing is not learning how to throw logs, it's learning how to throw everything. And then you just throw Robert Reed through a building or something.
when I
We
was
should
looking at
collectively
those-
write a series. We should get together and just throw shit at a wall to make a narrative.
Do you want to write a comedy fighting series?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
willing to
actually
do
been
it.
compiling ideas for fighters based on how Kengan works using martial arts that they don't use.
It will be it will be like a borderline parody of martial arts mangas, and that we get really in-depth explanations for just stupid shit, just completely stupid shit.
Have you heard of Jungle Juice?
Yo, bro,
I think I have, yeah.
Yo, get some
It was-
get some of the drunken fist fighting style. That thing's always cool.
Oh, that's in a series I help write. Someone has that.
All right, I need to read
Somehow,
your
uh,
guys'
spicy.
light novel thing that you're working on,
Oh,
your web
that's
novel.
very. I mean, yeah. I mean,
When
hey.
I was
yeah.
looking at
Sure,
videos of the
very fun.
boxers, they all just started leading me to videos of Jungle Juice.
Huh.
One
Which
of the main
seems to be a
characters
lot like
uses
Terraformers, but it's
drunken
teenagers,
foo.
where everybody has like mutant insect powers, but it's way more colored and hype.
Interesting. Oh right. What do we expect to come next in Kengan Omega?
China.
Do we think everyone goes on a vacation to China?
Yes.
Vacation.
Koga's Bizarre Adventure to China?
If needed.
I'm pretty sure the Gorms came up there to like shoot up the freaking Purgatory tournament, bro. I don't know. I feel like this was happening.
Eddie
Yeah, they're gonna
sends
do that?
Itamitsu a text. You seem like a pretty cool guy. Don't come to the tournament tomorrow.
Oh, he
no.
came! Damn it! Well, we can't stop it. The world's changing, baby.
Bro, what is this game? This game sucks.
Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to be killing the leadership of the Kengan Association or something? Does that seem like something that would change the world?
Maybe.
Turns out Obama's in the crowd.
Because the
This is the
tragedy,
death of Obama.
definitely. Oh no, not former President Obama.
Couldn't be. Best character.
You know what's fucked
You
up?
know?
Is that they could kill a former president and everyone would be like, oh my god, this is so awful. But, like, what would be the point to that? It wouldn't disrupt government functions or anything.
True.
It's power play.
Yeah, it's like a
It's more
symbolic
valid
thing.
than- Yeah.
I guess that's the point of terrorism. But if you're... Oh,
Wait,
actually, I'm not
what-
going to
what
give
are we-
advice on how to do terrorism
I
more
zoned out
effectively.
for like
Yeah,
20
good idea.
seconds. Why are we talking about terrorist plans?
Because it seems
Yeah,
like
it's
the
just-
Worm and Edward are going to be doing a little mild amount of terrorism. Otherwise, why would the world be changing after what's going to happen?
But all he did is block. You're a menace to society.
Like, whoa, like, yeah, kill Aereo or something? Damn, that sucks for us, because we like him. But how is that going to make the world any different?
True. And
The
let's
worms seem to mostly want to be under wraps until today.
Yeah, today's their big reveal. Not really a great reveal, if you ask me.
By the way, I wanted to ask, how long do you think the course of the Ragnarok tournament has been taking place in?
It's taken place over, like, maybe, like,
They mention
6 or
exactly
7
how-
hours by now.
I mean, you count the. I mean, each match at the end of it, they put a timer of how long.
Yeah,
And then
it
you
makes
have
sense.
to assume how much time there
Yeah,
is
but
between matches. If there's, like, an hour between matches, it's been, like, half a day so far.
So,
think
there,
I think you're forgetting how does time flow in heaven?
like, everyone who fought more than an hour ago has recovered enough to walk around,
Okay,
but no
magical
one has actually
healthcare.
had the time to take a nap or anything.
Heaven healthcare. It's
Yeah, I get-
magic.
you think they're gonna
Also, their
regrow all
souls.
of Shiva's arms?
Yeah, we're gonna regrow Shiva's arms in like 2 hours. I would believe it. They could probably do that. They're
I mean,
gods.
they could
They're
have
fucking
a god of
gods.
healing who could just like tap them with a wand or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do we think Eddie lives? Does Eddie survive whatever's happening now at the Purgatory
For
Stadium?
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better.
Hold on, wait, now
I
I'm
hope
looking at
so.
the
He
chat.
better.
The chat's been pretty funny, Sonny. I've been trained in the Canadian martial art to chop trees with my bare hands.
Oh my god.
The art of tree cutting.
I feel like I can't believe we haven't had a Kengan fighter introduced by that. It's a karate practitioner. Oh my god, Koga's going to practice his karate by learning how to chop down trees with his hands.
Oh no.
We're gonna have
completely
someone
see
that uses a chancleta as a weapon.
We're gonna see weapons? That doesn't happen.
Well, if we're
Nah,
going to
no.
have fucking caber throwing, we're gonna have a guy that uses. We're gonna have some degree of weapon usage, but not like swords or anything. It's like, yeah, I've mastered the art of the chancla.
Hold
I
on,
think
what?
we make the strongest character just be someone with a gun.
Yeah,
Like,
that would
every
make
time that
sense.
They're hyped up as being really powerful.
He just
but then
shoots the
it's 'cause
character.
So I guess he just shoots him.
Okay, every character has like these stupid anime level feats of like throwing people through buildings. Can't dodge a bullet.
Yeah,
Oh my
Can't
god.
dodge a bullet. Can't catch a bullet.
yeah.
That's
Hold on,
how
which
Koga
video-
catches
They're-
up to Omer
But
in
that's
a
the
year.
point. It sounds like, oh, they could deflect them. They're like, you know, really powerful bullets.
You
Lot of
see, the way
gunpowder.
for Koga to catch up to Oma is in a year is just have him train with a top-tier character and just beat the ever-loving shit out of him for a year, and eventually he'll get stronger.
Which video was the judo guy on again?
The fucking Jamaican comment was the chapter 130 reaction.
Right, thank you.
No problem.
I knew this.
It's notes for the future, right?
Is it notes for the future, or are you going to interact with him now? I'd prefer you do it on a video where
No,
other
it's-
people
no,
are going to
it's
be looking at it.
notes. It's
I just need
notes.
to get screenshots, that's all.
Oh, screenshots,
Yeah.
of course.
Make a character
Beast
based on
Titan
that.
said, I find slapping to be the most effective. I used to do a lot of slapping back in the day.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
practicing
I
for
mean
a wall.
slap fights. I mean, look at how popular slap fights become. Just have someone go like, "Oh yeah, I've mastered slapping." They slap a guy and they just go careening through buildings, and then they stand up like nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. Skinny says, just wait for fingernails that work like a machine gun.
Oh no.
Oh, so we're gonna make.
We're
JoJo
gonna
Part
do
7.
JoJo Part 7, yeah. Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna go for now, but I'm willing to discuss this. In,
Oh, don't worry, we're
more
gonna be
in-depth
wrapping
at
up
a
now,
later
because it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes. We've gone over the list of topics I have and spent about half the
Yes.
stream going completely off the rails on other shit. So,
date.
it's a usual
Fair
miss
enough.
stream.
Yeah, then I guess I'll stay for the conclusion.
Uh,
weird to leave
so,
right
well, Niko, you're the guest here. Do you have any final thoughts in general about the tournament and such? What you kind of hope to get from Omega going forward?
Mainly just a lot more. There's a couple of things. I'm expecting to see obviously the Worm making their move and doing whatever they need to do at this point now. What you guys were saying about maybe some of the higher ups possibly dying, like Ario, maybe like that could extend to like Metsudo and some of the other guys, and then it's almost like they have to rebuild. Then after that, obviously, like a major training arc, and then it might be them going out of their way to try and locate the Worm, or the Worm just coming back to find them, because they're kind of going public now anyway. So I guess they don't really have that kind of the same kind of fear of inconspicuousy, maybe. I think you asked something about maybe about Edward surviving. I would say maybe he doesn't, but purely because there's still that fifth guy that's still like that fifth shadowed silhouette guy that's still out there. Like if Edward does die, and then like, oh yeah, it's finally over, and then you see the silhouette guy who we don't know what he looks like, he appears at some point in the story, don't know it's him, and then he reveals himself down the line. It's like, it was me the whole time.
It was me, Alex. It was me.
It turns out it's the head of Metsudo guy. He's like, yes, I've been behind it the entire time.
Oh. It was all me, the greatest show in human history.
Why?
my
Why would you do
goodness.
this? Because this was schizophrenic.
It was because I thought it would be entertaining. Oh ho ho. That'd be in line for him. Yeah, I think the stuff Omega has going on right now with Edward and the Kure stuff is pretty good. Pretty solid, best stuff
Yeah,
we've gotten
very
since
good.
like the
Yeah.
Faye fight, actually.
Edward's
Better than most of the tournament.
He's the first guy in Kengan to jump somebody.
Edward, so far, living up to the hype. Living up to the hype thus far. I mean, Ario is someone who's definitely past his prime, but seems to be kind of strong. Wu Jing, I don't know how strong he is. I guess he's probably the strongest member of the Wu clan since he's the leader.
Seems cool at least.
Leader doesn't mean you're the strongest.
True.
Ryan is stronger, definitely stronger than Aria.
Yeah. But you know, even then, like these dudes are professional, very powerful assassins, and Eddie's just been kind of manhandling them very casually. He took his hands out of his pockets like only towards the end of the chapter, I think. No, he took them out. It was mostly like the dude doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, considering they came at him with weapons as well, and he was just barehanded and was like, "Yep, this isn't an issue at all."
Yeah,
Redirect you
it's
guys somewhere else.
it's something they make note of, like in Ashura with the coup happening, is even someone strong like Gao Lang there's gonna be an issue when you fight someone with a weapon, because it's totally different from
Yeah.
fighting a guy in like a fist fight. So for Edward to be fighting two guys with weapons and various other assassin shit and be like, yeah, get that out of here. Get it out of here. It's impressive.
He's
Yeah,
strong.
that guy even had like fire breath or whatever.
Yeah, he was
isn't
doing straight up ninjutsus.
Yeah, he was.
And Edward was like, oh man, you burnt my leopard print shirt. I guess I gotta rip this off now, even though it didn't look that burnt. Probably smells or something.
It was probably
probably.
on fire.
It did seem to be a little on fire, but then he just ripped it off and he's like, yeah. I wonder what he meant by them evolving the wrong way. I assume he meant they focused more on techniques and shit, while the Westward faction just straight up became
Well,
physically stronger.
I think it literally is, yeah, just they split up for 1,000 years. And he's like, wow, 1,000 years later, you guys are far weaker. Like, we all the leaders, and you are far below me.
Yeah.
I think he's saying that they are inefficient assassins while he is literally the Hulk.
Yeah. Maybe.
3 guys tried to assassinate him and failed. Meanwhile, he's just going to punch them in the face and win.
To be fair,
That's the ultimate
Ryan
fuck
is not
you.
a very good assassin. He just tries to fight people.
He told that to his face, yes.
But those
Didn't
two,
he
I mean,
come out as
Aria,
a-
Wu Jing, those dudes are assassins for real. And they're
By
not
the way,
doing too hot.
I'm watching an MMV of the boxer right now.
Good, good. You should actually
I just learned
read the
about
webtoon.
Kay's backstory in very quick, vague fashion.
That is not the way to consume a 3-chapter long webtoon backstory.
They covered it in a minute and a half.
That's not the way to learn a character's backstory.
I didn't know what was going to be in this video.
You should just go read the webtoon.
Sounds like a 100-chapter investment when I'm already only a fourth of the way through Toriko.
Well, you finish Toriko and then read the Boxer.
Oh, that's
Did,
a
I,
great
did you
question.
not see my list of my queue the other day?
No, I didn't. How much shit do you have going on right now?
I also have like multiple books to read on running City of Mist. But other than that, my read later list has like 15 series on it.
Jesus.
And half of them keep getting animes.
Hmm.
And then people say the anime's not as good, so I gotta read the manga anyway.
Quite troublesome. Alright, well, that was about 3.5 hours of a pretty good Miscast episode on Kengan Omega. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it very
You're
much.
welcome.
I hope you all had fun.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, it was fun, man. Definitely.
No
Good
problem.
talking with you.
I'm glad to
I
have you
just
on
love
here.
the light.
It's always nice to do collab with other YouTubers that I don't, do stuff with that often. Like Griever, we go on each other's streams like all the time and stuff. But like you, Niko, Shrift, I haven't done anything with Weeb yet. It's cool.
Definitely, because it's all about the
I
community.
don't know why. I've never been recommended one of Niko's videos before, but now I've
Yeah,
subscribed.
me neither.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
And of
there's some pretty good
course,
videos.
you guys, if you haven't already,
Oh,
definitely
hey.
go and subscribe to Niko's Heir. He does Kengan reactions and reviews every week, and I think he
He also
probably
reviews
provides better
Hajime no
commentary than I
Ippo.
do.
What a
Yes, he
coincidence.
does.
I was informing Nisk about Hajime no Ippo the other night.
Yeah, I have it on the list. I may actually start it sooner than I
yeah,
planned, but
definitely.
I have
Bump
no
it up,
illusions
yeah,
of
it's great.
catching up on it
It's one
anytime
of those
soon.
series where I suggest reading it in big chunks and then taking big breaks.
Yeah, I will probably do that, yeah.
But it's got 3 seasons that covers 125 episodes or so, plus a few OVAs.
Maybe we'll be peeping Hajime no Ippo sooner than I'd planned.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. I recommend it. If you've got a list, bump it up for real.
I was also recommending Kenichi.
Yeah, Kenichi. The
Uh,
next
which also
long
has
series I
about
planned on
62
reading.
anime episodes.
The next one I planned on reading was the next long series I planned on reading was Kingdom. What I'm probably gonna do, because I understand Kingdom has a certain vibe to it. So I'll probably start Kingdom, and I'll see how I'm feeling about it as I get into it. And if it's not really hitting for me, then I'll probably switch over and start Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah, that's fine.
Neve's already doing their research to decimate their foe.
Oh God! Oh, he has 101 comments on my reviews.
No, on the review comment.
No, 101 review comments.
Oh, the 101 review. Oh yeah, he posted a link. Oh fuck, he posted a video to him. Oh, he's also a brown belt in kickboxing, and he's done MMA for 9 years.
Oh.
And he's done boxing since he was 9. You're a baby compared to me. But I have a black belt in judo, so I guess I'm more of an expert when it comes to the understanding of grappling. Because I have 3 first-place trophies, and I've also wrestled at Madison Square Garden. And I'm a practitioner of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Soccer kicks are not natural because you can actually break your instep on someone's forehead. Using your heel to stomp in someone's face is a natural reaction. And then he posts a link. Mind you, in this video, I'm not doing anything serious. And if you know about fighting, you can tell, but obviously you can see the 360 head kick, the train of American top team, stick to your little 2 years of kickboxing, I would dominate you if we spar. So we posted a link to...
Yeah, I'd just bring a gun. What are you gonna do then? You want to spar? Sure.
He posts a link to a video in which he's supposedly doing something, and Brett Sheeran actually clicks the link, but there's no video. I actually can't see the video. Don't know why, but I believe you. I believe you.
So, Misk, I did a little research.
Uh-huh.
I googled Robert Reed. There is about 7 different famous men named Robert Reed.
Nice.
There's an author, a manager for PBS, a black basketball player.
It's not really an uncommon name, so...
It sounds like a very basic name.
He's Jamaican, don't forget. You gotta put Jamaican.
Yeah, he's Jamaican.
Not
Jamaican
a
Robert
one
Reed.
of them are martial artists.
Well, he just hasn't gotten his name out there yet, despite doing professional fights and fighting at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's not too special. Yeah, if you're being real. A lot of it, like Madison Square Garden hosts a ton of events. It's an achievement that sounds a lot. I mean, it's still an achievement, but it sounds a lot better than it actually is.
Nah, here's
I
what's
got
happening.
animation specialist, Office of the Prime Minister.
Holy
I think
fuck!
what's happening.
What if they're
His
all
family,
him?
His family, right, is erasing all the logs of his existence to keep his judo secret.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
No,
I
they
don't
control
think
the
they're all
world
him,
government.
Because only 2 out of the 8 are black.
Well,
Mm.
what if it's
Correct.
just
And-
Hui Sheng? They're all Robert Reed. They're all literally him.
Wait, he used the brainwashing thing, Hui Sheng, whatever.
They're all Robert Reed. They're all him.
I think things like that.
Oh, you think he's from the Westward faction? Oh shit.
I'm so talented. Instead of cloning me, they had to brainwash other people to be more like me to fill out my ambition.
Oh, I think he may have some competition here. Apparently, Sun Eater is also a master of dirty fighting.
What did you hear?
Dirty fighting.
Now this dude is Dora Explorer is annoying, but this guy is just incredible. Like this dude is absolutely amazing.
I'll have
I mean, look
to
at his
chat with him
feet.
one day.
Yeah, I can honestly say I didn't imagine someone like that would exist. Just listening to
The
that,
internet
I'm
is a
crazy.
very big place.
Very big, unfathomable.
It's a truly the YouTube comment section is still unfathomable.
Shut up.
Oh, well, anyway, thank you guys all for watching. This was fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my Q&A video, and all you Kengan fans, I'll see you again next week when Kengan is back from break. So until then, I'll see you guys around. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
You all may not know this,
Well,
but
that was
when
fun.
I